Is this the sequel to Data's Day, or maybe the lost ending to Deep Space Nine, or maybe a sequel to?
You guys hear that, right?
Did John Philip Sousa ever?
Dear
God.
Or the sequel to The Visitor? Find out next.
Treksploration.
Hello, and welcome back to Treksploration. I'm Albie.
I'm Chris.
I'm John.
And today we have a very special guest. We're so excited. One of the original Star Trek podcasters, as far as I know, at least in my life story. He is the host and co-creator of the legendary Mission Log podcast from Roddenberry Entertainment, which has grown to include the shows Mission Log Live, which covers the current era of Star Trek, and Mission Log Reactor, with co-host Jessica Lynn Verdi talking about Starfleet Academy. He hosts and produces many other sci-fi podcasts, including producing The Trek Files with our mutual friend, Dr. Trek, Larry Nemeczek. He is the one, the only John Champion. Hey, John, how you doing?
Hey. Wow, what an intro. Thank you so much. And by the way, Larry Nemeczek, not a real doctor. So let's just get that very clear from the start. You know, he may say he's Dr. Trek. We'll give him that. But
he's still real to me, damn it.
Yeah.
He just sent me a bill.
Yeah, right. But what a pleasure. Thank you, guys. I love being able to talk Trek outside of my usual story. As you know, when you're podcasting, you spend a lot of time behind the mic with the same people, and it's fun every now and then to do what you want to do. You guys get to have your conversation. We get to have our conversation. So, look, I'm proud that we've lasted so far 14 years. We've been able to spin off a little bit, and there's always some course correction in there, but it's been a fun ride, man. And growing up as a Star Trek fan, I would not have believed at 10 years old if somebody said, yeah, there's a job for you in the future where you talk about Star Trek.
Wow.
like that doesn't make any sense, right? But
yeah,
here we are.
That's what we're hoping to have eventually.
Right. Yeah.
We do it for the love. We do it for the love of the show. So
Yes.
what is your Trek story, John? How did you become a Trekker?
So, when you mentioned that earlier to me, I thought, well, there are all these sort of moments in my life that sort of reinforced or returned me to the fandom. So as early as I can remember, I don't know when I was not a Star Trek fan. I always tell people there's a picture of me at about 4 years old wearing a $6 Million Man running suit that my grandmother made for me, but I'm holding my Kirk and Spock Mego action figures, and I'm wearing the utility belt, the exploration kit with the phaser, tricorder, and communicators. So, like, I forced Star Trek into the other things that I love. So, always been around me, right? Like I said, maybe 4 or 5 years old at the most. Okay, fast forward a bit. Always a Star Trek fan. Meeting people who are also Star Trek fans. This is always in my life. When I was 15, my mom picked me up from school one day and said, we have to leave. We're not going home. We're going to the airport to go to New York because you have an audition for Star Trek The Next Generation for this new Trek show, right? So, as a fan, when I heard that there was some new Trek show, I called my agent in New York and I said, look, I don't know if there's room for a kid. I don't know if there's going to be like Lost in Space. That's stupid. Who would ever do that? And sure enough, get the call. Yeah, there's a role for a boy in this new show. So I went to New York. I auditioned, got a call back. They put me on tape. Spoiler, I did not get the job. Will Wheaton.
You're not Will
Wheaton. I know.
Wait a minute.
I know. All right, but
Who?
But
Who?
Why the hell aren't I notified about these things?
Right. Okay. And then throughout my life, like I'm kind of going in and out of the fandom a bit. And when I left New York and I moved to Chicago, I had started a video production company, and it was all geared toward like fandom stuff. And we were doing like DVD reviews and comic book shows and all sorts of stuff. And I was like, Star Trek, why haven't I been reconnected to conventions and fandom like I was when I was younger? started exploring that, connected with Creation Entertainment, connected with Roddenberry. That's kind of what leads me up to where I am now. But one of my favorite things, because of what I do at Roddenberry and prepping all these shows, and we're a very small company, but we have Gene's archive on site. And a few times a week, I go in there to look up stuff, right? I found a memo from casting from Paramount in New York to Gene's office. Here are the people that we're submitting on tape. And it was like, BB Newworth for Dr. Crusher, but she will not relocate to California, and blah, blah, blah. And for Wesley, John Champion.
Whoa.
Wow.
And it
That's
blew my
amazing.
mind because it was one of these things is sort of like this distant memory. Wait, did that? Yeah, I guess that really happened. And then when you see it on paper, you just go like, oh, no, that was a real thing in my life. And just so weird to be working in a place, go into an archive, find a document from more than 30 years ago and go like, yeah, that was me. It's crazy.
insane.
Wow.
So-
That's
That's
what might
insane.
have been.
Yeah,
Super
there's all these
funny.
weird little moments where Star Trek just sort of pops up in my life again. But yeah, long and short of it, started as a fan. I mean, and just always have been a fan.
Do you remember the audition? Did they give you sides for an actual script? Like, did you eventually see what you read on the show?
Oh, did they? Yeah, so I remembered from that day, I remembered it was a scene with Riker. And I remember there was some reference to a book on Vulcan philosophy or something like that. I found the sides. And if you go back to the Trek files with Larry, I think it was season 12, I think, maybe season 11, Frakes and I did the scene.
Oh, wow. I missed that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
great.
on my list.
So if
That's
you go
something else.
to thetrekfiles.com and you just search for Jonathan Frakes, it's one of those episodes that we did with it. We've had him on a couple of times, but we did that audition scene. Yeah,
Very
crazy.
I feel you. I legit missed out. I did the audition for a Jello Pudding Pops commercial, but I didn't get it.
Oh, man, the tragedy, central tragedy, defining moment of your life. See?
Yeah, I
know
made
how
it
it
pretty
goes.
far, but they asked me what I thought about the chocolate Jello Pudding Pops, and at the time I was allergic to chocolate, so that's what I told them. So I didn't get it. I don't know if it was that it. I'd like to think it was that it, and not because of me personally or the way I did the lines, but.
Well, look, dude, I remember botching an Apple computer commercial. It would have been obviously
wow.
a national, and this was back in the 80s or early 90s. It's like, oh my God, if I had only got, and I can't remember how I screwed it up. I just remember walking out of the room and going, wait, I did something incredibly stupid. Can I go back? No, of course not. You know?
It's part of the
It's-
process. Part of the process.
Yeah.
It's not quite the same thing. I wasn't like an actor as a kid, but there was a time when I was at the store with my mom. We were shopping, and I asked for Jello Pudding Pops, and she said no.
See, we're all bearing our
Yeah.
souls. We're
Well, it's
all
all
sharing our
connected.
tragedy right here.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
also
Connected.
wounded. Who knew?
I didn't-
Jello.
I didn't get the TWA commercial. I think I got the Chick-fil-A commercial, but I haven't been able to find it. But I'm not proud of that one. That
Wait.
was a different
You
time.
think you got it? You don't? Did you do it?
It was a different time. Today we're talking about Starfleet Academy, Season 1, Episode 5, Series Acclimation Mill, or SAM for short. As far as we know, no star date given. We did our best to research. Let us
Yeah,
know.
people, they called
we
us
got
to
that
account
wrong.
the last time because we
Yeah.
didn't mention it for the Vox and Excelso, not Excelsior. I'm sorry, I mistyped that when we were doing our show, so we mispronounced it the entire episode.
Did we ever figure out the
that's on
Latin?
me.
Did Jesse have it right? Did we have it right? Who had it right?
When I looked it up, it said a voice on high. What did Jesse say? A voice alone or
A voice in
Mr.
exile.
Champion,
is
you-
what
you
a
she
just
said.
voice
decide.
in exile?
Yeah, voice on high is how I had looked it up. But and here's the thing: look, we all do these shows. We're all doing them in the moment, and they're long form. We are bound to make mistakes. That just comes with the territory. Jessica, a couple of times, said something about the timeline being 10,000 years in the future, but she just kept conflating like centuries for decades, and like, just settle down, people.
We
We're
say
gonna make
millions,
mistakes.
9,000, 10,000. We get it.
Yeah, we always say
we
there's
exaggerate all the time.
the millionth century. Yeah.
Right.
Written by Kristen Beyer and Tawny Newsome. I'm very excited about that.
Tawny
Love
who?
Tawny. Tawny Newsome. You might know her as Beckett Mariner. Love her. Directed by Larry Tang. All right. Chris, for people who haven't seen the episode in a while or just watched it but maybe didn't get all the details, is there a way you can give us one of your infamous episode recaps?
I think I can. It's kind of my whole deal, right? So we open on a black screen with a lone voice calling out from the darkness, "Hello, are you listening? You're the only one who can understand my crazy story." And thus we begin a day in the life of series Acclimation Mill, or our favorite awkward cadet, Sam, with omniscient first-person voiceover and a funky techno soundtrack. After a heaping helping of exposition about her name, her home planet Kask, and the fact that she is the only photonic cadet at the Academy, complete with dance breaks, we learn that she is Kask's future emissary to the Federation. She also needs to learn how to describe organics to her photonic creators, who have never been off their planet and know nothing about how organics exist. Given that holograms used to be servants of organics, the photonic life forms don't know if organics can be trusted, and they're counting on Sam to guide them, which she is finding to be a tall order. If only there was another photonic life form somewhere who has lived among organics for the better part of a millennium and could probably just download all his experiences to them in one shot, but that would be absurd. Instead, Sam's creators pull her out of reality at random and hold audience in the same liminal headspace where Mork used to contact Orson, demanding weekly reports. They insist that she enroll in an advanced seminar called Confronting the Unexplainable. There she learns about another emissary, the legendary Starfleet captain Benjamin Sisko. She proclaims to course Professor Isla that she will solve the mystery of Ben Sisko. Cue the DS9 theme sting, and oh boy, here we go. Yet more exposition follows to catch all the newbies up on the entire series arc of DS9 and conjecture that Sisko still lives with the wormhole aliens protecting Bajor. Sam's first move is to crash the Bajor Club, asking, "Hey, anyone see a ghost?" She is summarily kicked out, but Aki encourages her to keep at it. You're here to dream for your entire world. It's crucial to know who you are and what you believe in order to do this, Ake explains. We then follow Ake into the B-plot, where we learn that War College honcho Kelrick is hosting a meeting with Chancellor Amal from the planet Alpharat. He's freaking out because they are brilliant military strategists who have proposed a collaboration with the War College, and he doesn't want to mess it up. He has to prepare a traditional Alpharati dinner, and Ake offers to help him. We'll get to the ensuing wacky hijinks in a bit, but first, Sam visits the virtual Sisko Museum for the most MVP moment of the episode. Sirach Lofton reprising his role as Jake Sisko. According to Jake, Ben's most enduring legacy was teaching Jake how to love and be a loving father. And let's all take a breath. Professor Isla tells Sam that she won't solve the mystery of Ben Sisko through facts alone. Sisko made choices, and his choices were based on the things he loved. And that's what made him the man he became. And are you getting this yet, Sam? It's not really about Sisko. Drama break. The Kaskians contact Sam again and give her one more week to understand humanity and be a successful emissary, or they will remove her from the Academy to live in disgrace back on Kask. So Sam does what any young adult in her position would do, heads to a cadet bar where Sisko used to hang out and gets drunk. Well, Caleb hacks Sam's system consensually, so she feels drunk. Potato, it's all vodka in the end. Yeah. Meanwhile, Caleb hooks up with Tamira, Jaden sort of hooks up with Kyle, and Sam starts a bar fight with the War College bullies. B-story interlude. Ake, Kelrick, Jet, and the Doctor hold a comedic practice dinner party complete with silly voices, goofy spoons, subpar flute playing, and Carmen's habanera, randomly, where ultimately Kelrick gets bent out of shape because Kelrick got a Kelrick. He blasts Ake for abandoning Starfleet 15 years prior. This is quickly amended by a turbolift heart-to-heart about trust or something, and all's well that ends well, but not so much for Sam. She has come to realize that being an emissary is a thankless task. Succeed or fail, the emissary never really gets to do what they want to do. They have to abandon those that they love in service of their mission. But Professor Isla comes to the rescue, pulling out a copy of Jake's unpublished novel, Anselm. You remember, the one he was writing in The Visitor when he became Tony Todd for a time. Anselm means father in Bajoran. As Sam reads, she has a virtual heart-to-heart with Jake, who manifests from the pages. He explains that Ben did have choices. He was the emissary, but he did it his way. The prophets were sometimes wrong, and the learning between them was a two-way street. Benjamin stayed true to himself, and Jake feels certain that he never really left them. Sam asks Professor Isla how she got this unpublished book anyway, and we learn that despite her Cardassian appearance, Isla is half Trill. She is Isla Dax, and she tells Sam that Benjamin would have liked her. Bolstered by the lessons Sisko has taught her, Sam faces her makers with renewed self-confidence. You're going to have to back off. I'm going to do this my way. Don't call me, I'll call you. What follows is Sam thanking Benjamin for his guidance and a long overdue thank you to Avery Brooks, complete with a Sisko voiceover. And that's where this episode leaves us behind.
Wow.
Woo.
Nicely done.
Great
Yeah.
job.
So
Yeah.
What was that quote that Cisco said?
I wrote it down because it was beautiful. He wrote, "Divine laws are simpler than human ones, which is why it takes a lifetime to be able to understand them. Only love can understand them. Only love can interpret these words as they were meant to be interpreted." Now, this was Avery's voice on screen, and I tried to look this up. This is not from any known episode. Do you guys have any idea where this
Any
recording
insight,
came
Mr.
from?
Champion?
So when we recorded Mission Log Reactor, I was doing my notes and I went around the office asking, like, how do we source this? What happened? And the only thing that I could find was just in the script for the episode, VO, Sisko, and there's the line. But there's you wouldn't have his name on a call sheet because it's a voiceover.
Big
it's not
spoiler.
he's
And a
not on
voiceover,
set, right? I could not get an answer from anybody, not because they were being cagey with me, but nobody knew. Nobody could figure it out. So I promise you, the way that I promised our audience in Reactor, I'm going to get to the bottom of it. And I don't know if it is a creation out of clips and AI, kind of a remix.
That was
I
my
don't know.
conjecture.
Yeah. Or is it a fresh recording, but maybe de-aged or cleaned up a bit with some digital tools?
It
We'll
sounded like
find
90s
out.
Avery. So I
Yeah,
was thinking
it did.
AI.
Yeah.
And they thanked him at the end. Maybe they asked him permission and he said, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that, well, when you're saying, John, it could be a fresh recording that was de-aged. So do you think that they might have actually gotten to Avery to do that specially?
Perhaps, as far as I know, Sirach is one of the people who is closest to Avery.
Yeah.
So Sirach is doing this show, and they said, "Hey, maybe we work in Cisco." Then maybe that they would have had an entry point to get him to do that. But I'm not really sure. And if they did do a fresh recording, like I said, I think there's a little bit of a special effect happening there as well. But similar story before Majel died. Rod and his friend Jules, who runs Otoy, they recorded her doing a ton of phonetic sounds and kind of root syllables, root words that could then in the future be turned into basically an AI programmable voice of Majel as the computer on the Enterprise. It has taken, she passed away, in 2008, I think, the end of 2008. Yeah, so it's taken this many years now, pushing 20 years, for that to become a reality. And it is it's not like a thing you can just go to a site and say, make the computer say this, but we're getting there. And actually, if you had gone to the Roddenberry Archive site that Otoy runs, there was a computer voice. I assume it's still there, but there was one when they had to do like a temporary shutdown or a temporary rerouting of something, and that was a fresh majal voice made from those stems, but
Very
processed with AI. Super cool. Yeah.
See,
I don't know about you, but I'd pay like $5.99 a month to have any of my digital assistants sound like Majel.
See,
They're missing out.
Yeah,
Rod needs to work on that.
I think we're going to get to that.
I will pay that money every month.
There we go. Nice.
my suspicion was that it was kind of cobbled together from, not cobbled together because obviously it was like its own thing, but that it was something that was recorded, like at the time and got cut for time or something.
Yeah.
Because like that's like a lot of Pixar films that include actors who have passed away. Like, oh, this is something that we didn't use in the first movie but we can, it fits in the third movie or something.
Yeah.
So that's, and not that I know him personally, obviously, but I get the sense, I get the vibe that he would not necessarily be super endorsing of AI using his likeness, using his voice.
Yeah, but it could
I
have
don't
been a
know.
cleanup.
But I
It
honestly
could have been a cleanup, like in the way that you take Harrison Ford and you do a de-age for the
Right.
for Indy 5. You can do that with voice. You can process the voice enough to kind of make it match a bit of the old one, So,
But
I'm very curious to hear what the reveal is on this.
my guess is AI, because even with Riverside, with the platform we record on, as long as they have about 10 minutes of your audio, you can type in any text and it sounds exactly like you.
That terrifies me. I
Yeah,
mean,
right?
there are
kidding.
Right?
hundreds and hundreds of hours of my voice out there in the world.
Is that why I was singing "Hello Dolly" on the last show? Because I don't
Exactly.
remember it.
I can make you say anything I want, Chris.
I wasn't even
Nice.
drinking a martini at the time.
Not yet. Hopefully tonight.
By the way, Chris, your summaries are always fantastic, but potato, it's all tequila in the end is maybe the best thing.
It was all vodka in the end.
All vodka in the end.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
That was-
So first impressions. We'll let Mr. John Champion go first. First impressions of this episode.
Oh boy. Yeah. You got time?
Yeah, we got all the time in the world.
Okay. Which, by the way, I just saw on Her Majesty's Secret Service the other night on the big screen. So
Oh, wow.
we have all the time in the world.
Yes.
I
was going for the time machine, but yes.
Right. I'm taking off my watch and getting comfortable, getting prepared here.
Limber up.
We don't have to be anywhere
yeah.
till Monday, so we're good.
Yeah. Right. So, my first impression was trying to put this episode in context of what we have seen so far, and the first 3 episodes I think go together nicely because we're setting the tone, we're getting to know the characters. Episode 4 is just such an emotional gut punch, and it is this beautifully told family story, personal story that also sort of magically ties into Star Trek lore. So I'm a big fan of episode 4. And we roll around to this one, I'm like, ooh, okay, we're going to do another character deep dive. And it makes sense. We want to get to know these people. And hopefully we're not going to have a whole lot of Caleb Tarima YA storyline. Hopefully we have the confidence to focus on our other characters so we can get to know them. So positive impressions. I was glad to see that. Wanted to get to know Sam. Wanted to figure out who she is and who her people are and what their mission is. And then you have this surprise, not just a taste of DS9, but DS9 woven throughout the episode. And I'm like, oh, okay, we're actually going to be committed to it. We're going to feel confident in that. We're going to tell that story a bit. So I got to the end of it and I was like, oh, wow, okay. Fans are going to like, and look, we can get into toxic fandom later, but fans, used in the most generous way, are going to like this because here's a real effort of tying back to a beloved series and tying back to beloved characters and making them count. But then I had to rewatch it multiple times to prepare for Mission Log Reactor. And I still came away with thinking like, okay, the things that are intended to pull on our heartstrings and pull the nostalgia from us, those will work up to an extent, But if I took that out of the equation and I just watched this for a story with a Star Trek message, I'm not really sure it's that strong of an episode. I feel like this is something that is dressed up with the sort of majesty of DS9, with the big ideas and the big characters and the big themes of DS9, to make us now go, well, this clearly must be very important. You know, this clearly must be the most important thing so far out of Starfleet Academy. But it rang a little hollow to me, because I feel like, first of all, we have to believe the motivation of the photonics, and we have to believe Sam's journey in that. And the more I watched it, the photon, and Chris, thank you for saying Mork calling Orc, because that is exactly what it made me think of, right?
Mhm.
But I got so pissed off at these photonic beings because they kept repeating the same thing, like, you have to figure this out in a week. Like, what is it? Well, that's the mission. You're going to figure this out. You're going to figure out humans. Well, wait. You're not actually defining what it is we're supposed to come away with here. You're just sort of making this up, you know? And so the stakes are, to me, the stakes are not really believable or defined. It's just, go do the thing. Well, what's the thing? We're not going to tell you the thing, but boy, you better do it. All right. You know, or else you're in trouble. You're coming back. So I think that was a bit of a problem. And then I think Sam's journey has great moments, has terrific, learnable, and comedic moments in it too. But when we get to the end, I kept asking myself, well, did we need 58 minutes or however, I can't remember the running time on this episode. Do we need that running time to just get to this sort of like, well, love is important. You follow the things you love, and friendships are important. And I really like my friends. So now I'm going to talk back to Orson from Orc and say, no, you better leave me alone. Like, is that moment earned where they would then back off? I'm not totally convinced that it is an earned moment. So I felt like the DS9 side, strong moments from Sirach. I really appreciate the idea of saying my father was so much more than his role. And I lost my father a couple of years ago, and he was well known in his community as being a doctor and being a very talented, very professional doctor. But the thing that my mom and I were happiest about is that everybody who came to the memorial service, everybody who talked to us, the cards we got, they always, always, always led with a comment on his kindness. And I felt like, well, that's the legacy right there. That, of course, that's it. So there was something that resonated with me in this story, that Sisko's role as a prophet, it can exist, and it has importance, it has impact, but to the people, to the relationships that you build, something else entirely. And it is about love, and it's about kindness, it's about connection. Positive message there, great. Let me give you my other big negative. Up until now, I think Starfleet Academy has done a really good job with making the humor mostly fit in an organic way. And we know that Tawny Newsome is in the writer's room, and I feel like the little jokes that are slipped in, they feel natural to the characters for the most part. There are places I could say that they don't, you know. But like watching Jaden Cragg stumble over a joke about, what is this doing in my soup? It is screaming. Like, and he's failing at it, but they don't telegraph the joke. And to me, that's perfect. Like, that's the exact balance, you know. The dinner scene was painful the more I watched it, because I felt like if you had one or two of those moments, the spoons with the holes in them, yeah, okay, great, I'm along with you because it's weird and surreal. But when the whole, however, like, it felt like a 15-minute scene, when the whole thing is just dependent on business, on just here's the next wacky thing, the next wacky thing, that it deflates any emotional resonance that it has. But we get to the end and it's this blow up like, well, you left Starfleet 15 years ago, therefore this is an important scene. I'm like, hang on. And, we just spent what felt like an eternity doing shtick. So you can't earn me back just by throwing in a heavy line, you know? So look, early in the episode, I forget who it is. Maybe it's Darum describes Cisco as Schrodinger's prophet, which I thought was great. And I love seeing these kids describe and litigate DS9 in just a few minutes. Great scene. But I feel like this episode is sort of Schrodinger's episode because it really, or maybe more appropriately, it's a Rorschach test. Because if I watch it just as a standalone episode, what is this telling me? What is the message it's trying to get across? That's one thing. And I think that it kind of stumbles in that, and it stumbles in the execution with a lot of jokes and a bit of heavy emotion, and then a lot of jokes and a bit of heavy emotion. So it's all over, right? But then if you're just there because you've been waiting for 25 years, nearly 30 years, for more of a button on DS9, you want to revisit the Cisco story, you may go like, oh, this is great. This is what I wanted. I'm not going to get season 3 of Picard translated over to DS9. I know I'm not going to get that, but I am going to get this. I feel like it's maybe, to me, not as effective as Lower Decks celebrating DS9 the way they did. I think that those stories had a bit more grounding in them. So I may be the odd man out. I may be 1/4 of a of a collective feeling about this episode. I cannot wait to either be vindicated or taken to task, because here's the thing, and we always say this on Mission Log. Every episode is simultaneously somebody's least favorite and somebody's favorite episode.
Yay, he said the thing.
I said the thing. So far, where we are in Academy, last week's episode was my favorite of what we've gotten in Academy. And I feel like this one it's just sort of, it's all right, but I don't feel like the execution was really there. You know, I think, again, if you go to this and look, when this comes out and it's all over the internet and people are like, it's the Cisco episode. It's the Cisco episode. Oh my God, there's going to be a lot of attention around that. And I think your level of enjoyment will be based on how much that touches you. But as far as just a piece of TV, I'm a little less than excited by it.
Chris.
So correct me, gentlemen.
You're throwing to me, sir.
Yes, Chris.
Thank goodness John Champion broke the ice, because Albie, you have been going on about this episode about 5 minutes, since 5 minutes after the screeners dropped,
Yes.
and saying just like, this is it. This is what it's about. The whole thing. First time I watched this episode, I disliked it immensely for so many reasons.
Wow.
I didn't understand really where the character of Sam was coming from. Who was the actress that plays Sam? I know that we have it down here.
Carice Brooks.
Carice. Now, I think Carice has been terrific in the show, but when I first saw this episode, I had my doubts that she could carry it based on some of the choices that she made. And I understand that they kind of retooled this character to play to her personality and her strengths. Anyway, that's what I read, that once she read for it, they said she's the one and we're actually going to tailor it to her. And so I was waiting for this showcase, just like last week. They had the Jaden showcase, this Sam showcase, so that she could show the chops that they had been lauding so much. And it was so like different, and I didn't really understand some of the as I said, the choices that she was making so that put me off. The whole format of this was so completely twee and fourth wall breaking, and we can talk about that I was put off by that immediately. And then we have like what I've been waiting for, like you said, John, as a DS9 fan. I mean, DS9 is, I always say they're my favorites, but DS9 holds a real special place in my heart. And to see the continuation of the Cisco storyline, once I realized they were doing it, I was so excited for it, but I got some real problems with
a lot of problems with you people.
Yeah, with what they did here. So on a second watch, I, with Carice's performance stood out to me. She really pulled it off, because I didn't have any kind of preconceived notion of what I thought it might be, or maybe I just got it. Maybe I didn't get it the first time. Maybe the second time, since I knew what it was going to be, I jived with it a bit more. So I enjoyed her performance a lot more the second time. But that being said, there is still just some significant issues that I have with the way they present some of the DS9 stuff in this.
There's something to be said, and I forget who did an article a while back about spoilers, like knowing spoilers going into a show. And yeah, I don't want to have something ruined for me, of course not. But very often when I watch an episode of Star Trek for Mission Log, the first time you watch it, if it's new to you, then you're sort of doing this thing in your mind where you're trying to figure it out. You're trying to put the puzzle together, and you just want to see if you land at the same place when you get to the end as the episode intended, or where you think it's going. So that's one way to watch a show. But then you go back and watch it the second, third, fourth time. All right, you're done with that. You're already finished with that process. Now we can just focus on the performances, the moments, what has emotional impact for you. And I really like that, because I even said it in our Mission Log Reactor for this one. There are so many episodes where on first blush, I go, oh, I hated that. It was terrible. But then I go back and I rewatch it and go like, okay, it may not be a favorite ever, but now I'm much more interested in what the episode's trying to say. And I don't think this episode is not trying to say something. It clearly is. It's trying to say, like, hey, there are all these big ideas that exist in Star Trek. Now let's examine them. But it feels like it lacks focus and execution to effectively do that. By the way, Chris, how do you know somebody is a DS9 fan?
I don't know, John. How do you know?
They will tell you.
It's like that meme with the urinals.
Wait. Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I'm the only one that doesn't know what Albie's talking about, but I don't know if I want to know what Albie's
There's
talking
a
about.
whole line of urinals in the cartoon, and the one guy walks all the way next to the other guy to tell him something. Like, I'm a vegan, I'm this, I'm that.
I see.
Okay. Yeah.
I gotcha. Well, I mean, I've been much more of an Enterprise fan lately. I've been doing Enterprise rewatch, and I know you guys are just getting up to Enterprise, so I can't wait to hear.
Excited. He's the Enterprise guy. I'm trying to get him into Voyager.
Oh, no, okay. Yeah. And look, Voyager, like all Star Trek, there are terrible episodes. There are great episodes. When you have 900 plus hours, not everything's going to be a winner. I look at Academy the same way. We're only 5 episodes in, and they have had truly a height with last week. And if the others are maybe a little mid, or just maybe interesting enough because, we're hooked on the action, we're hooked on the possibility here, that's fine too. I think with all of these current shows, there's a bit of an unfair disadvantage here, is that they only have 10 seasons in an episode. So it's not like in the days when we had 26 or 29 where you could absorb 2 or 3 or maybe 5 not great episodes, because you knew the next week there would be something for you that you really loved. So, it's a little tough here. And I feel like even in an episode like this, if I don't love it, production value, extraordinary. There is a care, and despite what some people on the internet may say, there is a care and attention to Star Trek's lore. There is care and attention for the details. They're not just haphazardly throwing things around. But, for all the good intentions, does it resonate with me at the end? Well, this one maybe not.
I'm just
The
relieved.
beautiful John Irons.
I thought I was going to be the jerk, so
Okay, well, I didn't write down like what I was like. Often I'll take notes or whatever, but like, okay. I would say every episode this season, I watched it through once and enjoyed it, and then I watch it the second time or sometimes the third time and really enjoyed it. Like every episode I've liked more upon rewatch. My initial watch of this one, I don't know if you planned to have another John on the show so he would say everything that I'm thinking. But it sure did work out that way. I like so many of you, I'm on record. DS9 is my favorite Star Trek show. And she turns to the camera. We're going to solve the mystery of Fandom Cisco. I was like, oh, okay, great.
That's a big deal.
Awesome. Yeah.
yeah.
And so, mild disappointment that they didn't. I mean, like, that was a long journey to get to. Fine,
Yeah.
I guess. Sure, she learned it was about herself. Fine. Yeah, pretty much everything you said is what is what I was also saying. The humor, which had been clever, and it's not that it's not clever, it's just obvious, I guess. It's the most sitcom-y. The dinner scene, at the first time I was like, okay, well, was this all, like, was the whole thing a joke? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I get that it wasn't. I think that it wasn't. I think there was just
Right.
the fish deflated and they laughed and you weren't supposed to laugh.
Same.
But it did not. Okay, you know what? So I will say, the first time I saw it, there were things that I liked, there were things that I didn't like. And again, as you say, coming off those last 3 episodes or last 4 episodes, especially the one previous, which was amazing. It kind of set a high bar. So here's what I liked. I don't know, I'm bouncing all over. I'm sorry. Much like this episode, I know I'm all over.
I was saying, so
sorry.
the episode, yeah.
BT squares. It happened.
I think it's maybe my favorite use of the fourth wall breaking, at least in a Trek episode that I've seen. I've not seen every Trek episode. But the fact that it went beyond her storytelling to the fact of, okay, I don't even know if this is actually happening or not. Like, even from the very first scene when she's walking through and everybody, I'm like, okay, is that really how? Was her experience walking down the hall like that?
I would say no.
I would imagine not. I assumed not, because she's only been there a few weeks and she's awkward. But also, she is super friendly and energetic. Like, I could see her being popular. I could see her being popular in a short amount of time. But I could also see her just seeing people think that she's popular, or thinking that people see her as popular, and they never explain it. They never go into it, which I like. I'm okay with it. So it's not that I have a problem with ambiguity. And the same with Cisco, Jake Cisco at the end. I like that when she's talking to him, she cries, which presumably she doesn't do. I mean, I guess she could simulate crying if she wanted to. But
She got the emotion chip upgrade.
yeah.
Right.
She got the 4K.
Yeah.
So they closed the book and she's not crying. Like little things like that I really liked.
Hmm.
The idea of her quest I liked. The reason behind her quest I liked. And even the things that she did to to try to fulfill this quest I liked. You know, she went to the museum. It's like everything is this was cool, but
All right.
she went to the museum and they manifest. Well, actually, you know what? I apologize. I was annoyed at that because there's an orb right there and you're not going to touch it, but it's not actually right there. It was a holographic view of it.
Right.
So you know what?
Mhm.
That's fine. That gives them a point back for me. So
Yep.
I apologize to the universe for that one. That's on me. But the club, they have no excuse.
In the club.
Why? Okay. And the little thing where he's flipping, oh, she got purple hair. Like, okay, cute, funny bits. Sure, fine. You get to the club. Hey, I figured out a way to make you drunk, or to simulate alcohol. Each tap is a drink, as a shot, and she taps it 12 times, and she's drunk.
Yeah.
Why would he not immediately lower it
Not gonna
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
back, if not to 0, to a reasonable number? And then and so and then the work college comes in, and it's still like they leave her like that the whole night.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
What kind of, are we cussing? Is this a
Yeah,
cussing?
sure. I'll
What kind
cut
of
it out.
friends get you to a bar, know it's your first time in a bar? You're effectively 12, right? She's like a kid.
Yeah.
Get her
By the way,
drunk.
yeah, she's made to be 17.
17.
But
But
we
she's like
learned in the
4 weeks old
episode
or
she's less than a year old.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
months old.
Well, I
She
gotta
clearly
think,
doesn't understand human behavior, organic behavior,
Yeah.
whatever.
Don't we all overdrink the first time though?
Not if your friends are there. And
Yeah.
let her
Oh,
get, I mean, the
like
bar
your friends
fight
can stop you.
aside,
I mean,
bar fight aside, maybe I just grew up in the 90s, you know what I'm saying? You don't let,
Or the emissaries.
you don't let your friends and there was no, and getting more drunk over the course of the night might have even been, okay, I get it, you know, but no, it was immediately wasted. And everybody just was cool with it. I mean, sure, she started a fight. Of course she's going to start a fight. Why wouldn't she start a fight? But there was no reason to. And she's laying on the bar, and the bartender is serving drinks over her.
well, think about it. I mean,
not to mention,
she's made a light, so she's clean.
I'm not done.
That's true. And
These are
she's
some
learned by
initial
an example of
impressions.
Holly Hunter.
We've gone right into the main discussion. So
Not to
Yeah.
mention, not to mention, see, you threw off my. Oh,
sorry, John.
That's okay. She's on the bar. The surgery's over. I don't. It'll come back to me. I'm sure it'll come back to me. I just. Right, synthahol. Aren't they drinking synthahol? Are they actually getting drunk? Do kids get drunk at the cadet college bar?
I was thinking that because they're all quote underage for our time, but maybe drinking is completely different in the 87th century
They're in
because
college, too.
it
Well,
is
no, I mean, not even an
synthahol.
underage thing. Just
And it's after the burn.
but
Yeah.
is synthahol not still a thing? Isn't that the whole point? You don't get drunk,
Well,
especially at an
I think
academy.
with synthahol, you get drunk, but it is something that can be immediately
Shaken off.
undone. Yeah.
Okay,
You
Yeah.
can
All right.
you can metabolize it if you have the right
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
All right, fine. I
Yeah.
guess
So if
I'll-
you're from Kids from the Hall, Kids in the Hall, you can't metabolize synthol.
I'm like. I'm like the doctor. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in this episode to a degree. And okay, all that said, it was not terrible. it wasn't a bad episode, but compared to the episode, it was not a bad episode of television. But thus far, the bar they have set for Starfleet Academy, it was not a good episode. It's my least favorite episode so far. And it's as far as I've seen. I'm not seeing episode 6. It's my least favorite episode so far. But that's in part because the episodes were great.
I'm going to be the odd man out because I love this episode. Maybe it's because I'm a simpleton. Maybe it's because I watched it at 4 a.m. for the first time. But I watched all 6 as soon as they dropped, of course, because I'm addicted to Star Trek. I'm a Trekaholic. My first impression was I'm watching this and I'm like, oh, they're doing Data's Day. Cool. I love Data's Day. One of my favorite episodes. But they were doing it in a kind of a new, funky, fresh way, which I really loved the format. I love seeing everything that's going on through her eyes, through Sam's eyes. I thought Carice did amazing in the role. I loved the DS9 heartstrings. I just love that. I think we covered the episode. What's the name of it again, Chris?
The Visitor.
The Visitor. Right. So I think this, for me, it was like a sequel to The Visitor. And at the same time, also the closure I needed from Deep Space Nine, because I absolutely loved Deep Space Nine, but I was very disappointed by the ending. And that wasn't a problem with what they did. It was a problem with what I expected and what I was looking for and what I wanted in the ending. And it just wasn't for me. So that's one of the, I'll go back and rewatch Deep Space Nine, once a decade or so. And it's always like, I'm the last few episodes are amazing. The last half of the last season are amazing. But that just the last episode for me is just like, all right. And it's kind of like a letdown and a disappointment. So for me, when I took getting my closure I needed, plus the sequel to the, older Jake episode, The Visitor, thank you. The sequel to The Visitor, I'll get it. The sequel to The Visitor, it just pulled at my heartstrings every single time. And every time the music cue hit and Sirach being there and just talking about his father. And I thought I would really break at the end with Avery doing the voiceover, but I was more confused and trying to analyze it. Like, how did they do that? But the rest of the episode, it just really worked for me. I thought it was funny. I loved the new Dax because, for me, one of the seminal moments in my life is when, we lost Jadzia and we got Ezri. So, this is another one of those, a little bit. And I'm so glad that it's Tawny because I love Tawny. And I just love the whole thing. And the more I watched it, the more I loved it. And yes, it does fail when it comes to message, moral, and meaning. If it's in there, I didn't see it. But for just like a cherry on top of Deep Space Nine, and for the closure, and for the continuation of the story of older Jake, which I loved, it's my favorite episode of the season.
Well,
so far.
That's what I want to hear, because I'm so curious when this episode goes public and everybody gets a chance to see it. I have no idea what the fan reaction is going to be like. And to me, okay, I feel like the morals, meaning they're kind of there, but I also feel like they're sort of weak sauce. They're just sort of below. Well, I think it's the very low hanging fruit. It's like friends are important. Love is more important than sort of destiny or the role you play. Okay, but are those strong enough for Sam then to make her case to these total jerks that have set up this situation for her?
I think the message is that she has the strength within herself so that she doesn't have to make her case. She doesn't need to justify why organics are worthwhile. She does eventually, I suppose.
Well, that's the thing. We absorb that sort of, again, easy message, which is, oh, it's the journey, not the destination. Oh,
Well,
organics are a little weird and unpredictable, but to try to make a case for that, like I was kind of waiting for the Kirk speech, to be quite honest.
I don't think you were like you're not clear on what her mission was. I think I was
Yeah.
clear on what her mission was. I think
Okay.
my understanding of her mission was we need to assess basically are organics a threat to us? Can we trust them? Can we trust them? And hers like, okay, well, for us to know if we can trust them, we need to understand them, and I don't understand them yet. And she's like, okay, well, do you understand them now? Do you understand them now? Like, no, I'm gonna need some time. When I get it, when I know how to express it to you, I know that I can trust them. I know that I personally can trust these organics. But I can't express to you why that means that organics can be trustworthy. Once I've absorbed enough knowledge, experience, whatever, to be able to articulate why I'm correct to you in a way that you'll understand, that's when I'll call you back.
See,
Until
I think
then,
you just said it better than she
don't
did
bug
in
me.
the show.
I think I did.
Yeah,
But
because
Are you going to be the next guest star, John?
yeah,
Sure, yeah.
But here's the thing. Yeah, the part of that mission is we need to know that organics are not a threat. And yes, I get it. In order to do that, we have to understand them. And understand is a big, broad, heavily loaded word. But I think there was an opportunity for an actual moment of growth, a moment of stepping up to the plate. Like I said, I wanted the Kirk speech, essentially. Like, but these organics are full of love. They're full of passion. They are unpredictable. That's what makes them special. I wanted that. And instead I just got, nope, I'm not going to talk to you anymore until I feel like it. Goodbye.
Okay, but she's a teenage girl. Which is exactly how they would say that.
And that's when the parent goes, nope, no. Nope, you come right back here.
Yeah, I don't know if she just shut off her receiver or like how she's going to stop them from pulling her into the liminal space.
What did Mork end up doing? To cut off
He
Orson?
married
I forget.
Mindy, and they had Jonathan Winters.
Jonathan Winters.
They had
Yeah.
Mirth.
And,
They had Mirth.
yeah, Mirth.
Yeah.
Mirth was there. That part of the episode that you guys are talking about is the part that one of the parts that really bumped me is this is just some kind of lazy writing. I'm sorry.
Talking to the head? Talking
No,
to the big giant head?
no. The big giant head, putting some art of. You have to assume that the Photonics know enough that they sent somebody to be matriculated into Starfleet Academy to go through a course of study on the terms that the organics dictate, right? And now all of a sudden, it's literally the middle of the first semester, and they're pulling her out and giving her some kind of artificial deadline to get this mission done. What did they expect to happen if she's not even going to spend a full year at the academy, a full semester? So like that to me is just like, because we need to have some kind of artificial stakes.
All right, yes, or rather, I'm gonna even yes but you. I'm gonna butt you, Chris. Observe my butt.
On mine own show.
Observe my butt. Yes, but we saw when they pulled her into this to communicate with her, effectively for us, time stops because communication is so fast. So for them, for you, it's like it's only been a semester. It hasn't even been a semester. For them, it's been forever.
Yeah, but
They're thinking and operating because they only deal with each other. They only deal with their type. So for them, you've been there for how long? We've evolved 5 times.
I know for an android, it is a very long time indeed. I understand, but again, you have to figure that they know enough to know that there is going to be a process and a school year and a way of doing things that she is going to have to adhere to.
I guess. I mean, yes. Logically, yes. But sometimes I logically know things are going to take a certain amount of time, but I still get frustrated by how long they take.
So when you were watching it, you were seeing like her pause and communicate with them instantly and during real time. See, I was seeing the whole thing as her flashback telling the story to Orson.
Oh, That's interesting. I wanted to talk about this because to me that's one of the neater aspects of this episode is the way that she does communicate, and it helps to make Sam, even though she's goofy teenager, it makes her wholly alien to us. She exists in a way that we can't comprehend, and for all we know, she's still walking around the quad doing everything that she usually does. But there's some part of her that is under this spotlight, having to explain herself.
I think it's in the moment because I don't know if they did it every time, but at least 2 or 3 times, they zoom in on her eye and you see like the light up and it does a thing. So I assume that in that moment, that's when the connection is made.
Reminded me of, I don't know what it's called in the theater, but when everybody pauses and the main character addresses the audience, kind of.
Yeah.
Like maybe that one episode of Family Ties, you know?
Yeah. Right, with the power of love,
the Family Ties effect.
But that's, I think you know what I'm talking about.
But talking about like just the whole meta aspect of this. At first, I was just like, "Why are they doing this?" And then I thought, "Okay, well, this is obviously Tawny's quirkiness coming through. This is very Tawny,
which I love,
very Tawny tone.
I love Tawny up and down."
I understand, and I think Tony's very talented. Sometimes, again, like I said, it could be a little twee. It was a little much. But then I'm thinking, why does she keep spiking the camera and talking directly to us? Then I realized in hindsight that this was an homage to DS9 and especially to Cisco. Are they evoking In the Pale Moonlight here for everybody?
Okay.
Because that's, Avery speaks to the camera throughout that entire episode. So I was thinking, all right, maybe that's another cool little way that they can throw an homage to Avery.
So I started off my my impression saying like I'm kind of 2 minds about it, but I didn't go back to that. So yeah, the first time I watched it, like there are parts that I liked, there are parts that I didn't like, and every rewatch of every previous episode, when I saw it, I liked it more. This episode, the parts that I liked, I really, really liked. And the parts that I didn't like, I really disliked. So everything just crystallized. I didn't really change any opinions. It's just like the stuff that I liked, I was like, okay, I kind of love that. Like the storytelling, the fourth wall breaking, the Dax of it, the Jake of it, like all like the stuff that was, oh, that's cool. It's like, oh yeah, that's actually really good. But the stuff which maybe in contrast or maybe independently made the stuff that I didn't like just seem a little bit worse.
I'll say this: I welled up every time. The first few times I'm watching it, but just when I'm rewatching it quick tonight to refresh my brain and get my notes down, still I welled up when I wasn't even really paying attention and trying not to be into it. I was trying to look at other things. I still welled up. For me, it's that connection to Deep Space Nine, and it adds to the lore of the whole Star Trek story. And I think this just adds to the end of Deep Space Nine for me. So,
I mean, honestly, that's the impression that I want to read, that I want to hear about when everybody gets a chance to see this, because I know that's the intention. I know that's what the producers and writers felt like when they wrote this. Like, oh, we're going to do this justice. We're going to revisit DS9 in a profound way, and this will really speak to the fans of that show. Now, look, I admit, DS9, and I fully agree with you, Albie, that the lead up to the final episode of DS9 is phenomenal. I do not like the final episode at all.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I think they did all their best work 9 episodes before.
So for me, this fixes it, kind of.
Okay, good. But that's what I know.
I wonder if that's. I love the final episode.
Okay, but this
might
is what
be
I
the
want to know.
divide
For
in
the
the impression
fans
of this
who
episode,
love it,
yeah.
for the fans who are so deeply entrenched in DS9, will they watch this and go, oh, okay, you know what? Starfleet Academy did right by it. I didn't feel that. I felt like it was reaching for the thing in Star Trek that is among, I don't think the most profound, but I think it's among the most profound, the show with the most gravitas. So they're reaching for that to then say, like, look, our show, maybe it doesn't have that, but it appreciates it. For me personally, it didn't land, but I want to know that there are fans for whom it does. The same way that, look, like I said, when Picard season 3 rolled around and everybody was so excited to see the Enterprise D and see the band get back together, I'm like, great. I'm glad you liked that. I'm glad, see, right? Like, I'm glad that worked for you. I didn't feel like I really needed it. You know, I like they're all fine people, but you know, I didn't necessarily need that to be the thing that season hinged upon. I was much more interested in continuing Seven's story. I was more interested in oh damn it, who did Todd Stashwick play? Why am I screwing that up? And of course he had to have a a tragic
the Jaws name.
Yeah,
Shaw.
that guy. Shaw, there we go. You know,
yeah.
Of course, he had to have the tragic, heroic ending. Sorry, spoilers, anybody. But, you know, but
for me,
I was interested in them.
For me, the final season of Picard only was missing either Will Wheaton or John Champion, whoever ended up playing Wesley.
Or both. or
Which universe we happen to be
Mirror
in, right?
universe,
Yeah.
Wesley, right?
Right,
I'm surprised they haven't called you yet. It's never too late. Now that they're casting Star Trek podcasters in the mix, I'd like to put my hat in the ring.
Yeah.
You know, they got Sirach. How did this stay a secret? These screeners came out, what, 3 months ago or something? And it's not out there.
It's
not out there.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
out
so
there now
shocked.
because the episode aired today.
Today! But even, you know, like the off reviewer that maybe from Entertainment Weekly or something that gets the screeners that has no concept of the story and what is a secret and what isn't. It just hasn't gotten out. And I'm so impressed by that.
Don't a lot of times they say, or at least with the Quantum Leap they did, it's like, don't mention this, don't mention this, don't mention this.
They did with the Quantum Leap screeners. With these, they just say, don't say anything.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
They were very specific as what we could talk about with the QL screeners.
Yeah, Quantum Leap, they said, you can't say this, you can't say this, you can't say this.
Yeah. And Paramount are pretty specific that you can do a general review, but you can't talk about episode plot specifics until the day of, and that's fine. And it was funny. I was in I'm in a Slack group with oh gosh, am I going to give this away if I say it? Let's just be very vague. Let's just say that there were other people who had screeners who were also working on other projects, and they were like, even in the Slack,
don't be afraid to add me. Sean likes me.
Yeah. but even in the Slack, they were like, okay, we don't want to tell everybody else in the group that we are doing this because that will give away this thing, you know? So I think fan/journalists, they're going to be cool about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Even when I was communicating with other people with the screeners, I didn't say anything specifically.
Yeah.
Like we triple confirmed with each other. Did you see the episode yet?
Yeah, I'm glad
before
that
we started talking about
it. That you embargo yourselves because, you know, I watch these one at a time. So I had no idea that Sirach was on this episode until, you know, the day before yesterday. And I was so pleasantly surprised. I want to talk about Sirach coming back. What did we think about
his performance?
Yeah, his performance as Jake. I love that and this is just going to be like a weird thing because I've always had a soft spot for the ridiculous outfits that they put Jake in for the first 3 seasons. And I feel like the blue outfit that they gave him in this was just the grown-up version of his Blue Beetle onesie that he wore in like the first 3 seasons. So that was a cute little callback. But I haven't seen Sirach in anything but DS9, but I always loved Jake as a character. I always loved Sirach's performance as Jake, and I think he really nailed it here. It was very evocative of Avery because now he's got sort of the Avery look. He's got the full beard, not the goatee, but I could see this actually being Benjamin's son. Like that connection to me was still there. And like Sirach slipped into this, he was Jake, but he was Jake with some experience, with some years behind him. You got to remember the last time we saw Jake, he was this bereft young kid staring out that porthole with Kira by his side, wondering what happened to his dad. And here we get to see this beautifully nuanced performance from someone who I don't know what he's acted in the last 30 years, but he just comes in and nails it. And that part I liked because at least Jake has some kind of closure. Again, I have some significant problems, which I'll talk about later with a lot of the stuff that we were presented with here. But at least I felt like Sirach was so sincere in the moments. And that was part of what elevated the episode for me. Not just the surprise of him being there, but upon subsequent rewatch, how much more I liked it the second time. So I think that this will stand out as a very meaningful moment in franchise history. Just having somebody rehash a role so well. Say what you will about the whole Next Gen cast. I mean, we've seen them in other stuff, and I don't know. To me, there's more poignancy here than, like you said, John, there was when they lit up the Bridge of the D at the end of Picard. So it's all nostalgia fest, but for some reason, nostalgia sometimes aggravates me. This really worked on me.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
I love Sirach's performance in this from the minute he was on screen, and like from the minute Sam was like pressing the button, I was like, oh no, oh my god, and I just welled up and my heart raced and I broke just like that seeing him again.
You know what? I think maybe the nostalgia, the reason it works sometimes and maybe doesn't, is like there's a difference between being nostalgic for a set or a costume or even the character. But in this case, the nostalgia was, I loved this man, and you loved him like I loved. It's like talking to a family friend about someone who's passed away. So that's why I think this hits better. And I like the the reunion in Picard, but I wouldn't say I got emotional about it. I mean, oh, that's cool.
Of course,
but it wasn't like.
I was a mess. But I love Ben Sisko. I love Jake Sisko. To me, they're like family in my brain somewhere, so seeing him again. We got so much more to talk about. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to finish our discussion on this episode. Series Acclimation Unit, is it?
Series Acclimation Mill.
Okay, thank you. Series Acclimation Mill. And we're going to talk about the main focus of this episode, whether or not you like tomato in your gumbo. So we'll be right back after these messages. And we're back. We're back with John Champion.
John Champion. We are like interlopers in the house of royalty, in the halls of royalty, the hallowed halls of Star Trek fandom, and there's us.
They wanted you so bad. They've recruited another John who is a pale imitation. Just so that they can say, we've got John on the show.
All three of you, if and when you're in LA, the invitation is open. Come up to what I like to call Roddenberry World Headquarters, which is our office up in North Hollywood. Love to welcome you. Sure, yeah.
I was going to say, be careful, John. Our plane is booked. I was going to say, Albie will never leave.
But no, I mean, look, I'm really lucky. We were kind of talking off air that Roddenberry Entertainment in and of itself is a pretty small company, but I love that it's steeped in the history that it's in, and I love that I got to work with friends. That's really the best part of it. Is we are a little bit of a dysfunctional family, like a lot of small businesses are. But I am so lucky that I get to work for a friend, and I get to talk about Star Trek. I mean, come on, it's kind of amazing. Like, even on the worst days where I get frustrated with any number of things, I still have to kind of pinch myself and look around and go like, but I'm here, know? So
it must be an amazing feeling at times.
Sometimes awful, but
I'm just so happy that you guys are going strong. So many pods that you get, like Albie, you introduced this term to me, pod fade.
Yes.
Where they start out with the greatest of intentions, but it just kind of peters out. You guys have been steadfastly at it, as you said, since what, 2009?
2012, yeah.
2012.
Yeah, and we've had moments in there. Like right now, we're in a hiatus between Voyager and Enterprise for the main mission log for a number of reasons. Part of that being, well, we wanted to create this new way to talk about the new show, Academy. So we need to focus some attention on that. And we get email every day. When you coming back? When you coming back? When you coming back? And I say, like, it's been 14 years. I really just need a little break. You know,
I was one of those people. I was driving up. I was going to my buddy's house to go ice fishing, and I saw that you guys had just finished Voyager. I didn't listen to those because I haven't watched the majority of Voyager yet.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, I can't. Oh, they're going to do Enterprise finally, Broken Bow, and I was just like, John, where are you? Norman, where are you?
Yeah.
I'm still looking at my feed saying those sons of bitches.
And I absolutely appreciate that, but part of the thing is, look, in all honesty, I have had projects that I have started that have faded, and for any number of reasons, personal or just financial or whatever. With Mission Log, it's kind of unique though, and it's a good kind of pressure to have that I don't want to let down my friend Rod. I don't want to let down the other people that I get to work with on the podcast side of things, like Earl, Jessica, Norman, Shar, Ashley, Holly, everybody, Heather, Matthew. I mean, I'm gonna, like the Academy Awards, like name all the names you're gonna think and you forget them, right? But I don't want to let those people down because I'm so grateful for their talent and what I get to share in. So I don't want to let them down, and I don't want to let our listeners down. Like if we say that we're going to start this thing, I want to see it through. We got about 2 years that it'll take to get through Enterprise.
Yeah.
And then 3 J.J. Abrams movies. And then the next thing is Discovery. And by the time we get there, Discovery will be more than 10 years old.
Isn't that crazy?
It is, yeah. And I really we'll have to approach it in a different way than we have traditionally with Mission Log, because they tell these season-long arcs. But I imagine I'll still be at it. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Years
It's
to
a
figure it
lifelong
out.
calling.
Years to figure it out.
Yeah.
And
Deciding to do a podcast is an odd thing because you make a decision like one day and, this will be fun, but then you're committing 2 of your days per week for the rest of your life, basically.
Exactly.
Or you're letting thousands of people down.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Really weird. Yeah.
Well, but it's just great to talk to friends about Star Trek. So.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, like of all, and you guys know this, there's all the stuff that goes on before and after the show. There's all the the research, the planning, scheduling, etc. And after the fact, there's processing, editing, posting, dealing with the email, social media, etc. Right. You get it. But when you actually turn on the mic and you do what we're doing, you just have a conversation with friends about Star Trek. That is the best. That is absolutely like
if anybody's seen the length of our shows, we never want that part to end.
Yeah, right.
So true. So we were talking about gumbo. John Irons, beautiful John Irons. Tomato or no tomato?
No tomato. I don't.
Why?
I'm
Why?
not super passionate about it. I imagine
Okay.
my my ex is actually from not New Orleans, but like Mobile, which is kind of New Orleans adjacent.
Mobile
Been
is
there.
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a
Alabama.
lot of Creole influence in her family, and especially like in the cuisine. I've never seen her put tomato in the gumbo, and I think she would probably slap me if I suggested it.
Okay.
She might slap me in general. She is my ex, but
There you go.
definitely that would give her a reason.
If you were my ex, John, I'd try to get back with you. Just saying, Mr. John Champion, tomato or no tomato? In your
Okay,
gumbo?
look, I am from Alabama. I am from Birmingham. I've spent a
Oh,
lot
me
of
too.
wait,
Nice.
whereabouts?
You guys went to school
North
together.
Birmingham.
Are you serious? Okay, we were in northern Shelby County, so just outside of. Although we were technically in Birmingham, which is weird, even though we're in Shelby County. But yeah, that's crazy.
So all right. So how long a drive to the Civic Center? Let's try that.
20 minutes.
10 minutes.
Okay.
All right.
But
so-
wait. Okay.
Nice.
I feel like Sean should have been here.
Isn't everybody related in Alabama? So maybe you got some.
Common
we are.
misconception.
We are. You didn't know that? Yeah.
Common misconception.
Are you Caraway? How far?
It's like Norway.
From what was Caraway Hospital?
15, 20.
Okay. All right. So a little bit further. Yeah. That's where my dad had his practice. Was at Norwood Clinic. Yeah.
Oh, really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Long gone. Crazy. All right. So I grew up in Alabama. I spent a lot of time in New Orleans. That's just the place you could go for the weekend, right? Love Cajun food, love Creole food. To be correct, you do not put tomato in gumbo. However, okay. I think chasing authenticity in big quotes, that only leads to trouble. Like as an academic exercise, it is very interesting to find sort of like sources of things and to understand histories of things. But I have sat in many good restaurants and had a good bowl of gumbo that has tomato in it, and I go like, well, this is surprising. That this is not correct, right? And you know what? And then I enjoy the hell out of it if it's a good gumbo. So it really depends. But yeah, I'll look at it and go like, all right, do they know what they're doing here? Do they know enough of the rules that I allow them to break the rules?
That's exactly what it is.
Is that it? Okay.
That's exactly what it is. My art teacher said something similar. Like once you understand the rules to why shadow works this way or why line this works this way, then you can break the rules. Yeah. And it's absolutely the same with gumbo or any kind of.
If you were to ask me tomorrow, can you make a batch of gumbo? There would not be tomato in it. And there is a container of Commander's Palace gumbo frozen in my freezer right now, and there's no tomato in that because Commander's Palace, they know what's up. They know what they're doing.
Chris, is it like a New England gumbo or a New York gumbo? Is it a different type of
I do not believe that I've ever had gumbo. If you want me to be honest, I did visit New Orleans in my 20s for a work convention.
That's where you got all those beads.
Something tells me that I might have had gumbo at some point during that trip, but I don't. If I did, I don't recall it. I recall going to is it Bourbon Street? Yes, Bourbon Street. 4 times in 3 nights. That's how much fun I had on Bourbon Street.
I may or may not have had gumbo. I may or may not have done a lot of it.
So, I do remember having turtle soup or maybe mock turtle soup, and I'd never heard of that outside of the Little Rascals. And one of my coworkers was eating, I guess it was like a clam soup or oyster soup, and there was a pearl. There was a pearl in her soup.
Holy crap!
Wait, there's a pearl in my soup. Yeah,
that's cool.
So that's so yeah. So I don't know, Manhattan, New England, it's all gumbo to me. How about you, Albie? How do you prefer your gumbo?
Well, as far as I know, doesn't gumbo always have seafood in it? I think that's why I've steered away from it.
Not necessarily. They do chicken and sausage gumbo, andouille sausage.
Do they have sausage gumbo? I think I had a vegetarian gumbo, maybe Amy's canned gumbo once, because I knew it wouldn't have crayfish in it because I had crayfish as pets. But as far as tomatoes go,
that feels wrong somehow.
That's the content that I'm here for. That's great.
When 20 did that on the show, batting into that tomato like an apple, did anybody else think of George Costanza? Wasn't that a George Costanza moment on Seinfeld?
I did not.
I don't know. But I have seen people who do that. Like
you're gonna finish that thing. I love that. You got a little salt, a little pepper there. Yeah.
I'm from New Jersey originally, so
I have walked through many a farmer's market where you see that and just like, I could just bite right into that thing. Yeah, eat it like an apple. Love that.
I love tomato sandwiches. But I might try gumbo. If there is a sausage or chicken gumbo, I'll try that.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be eating and then there's like a claw or some exoskeleton.
I should mention that my ex is a vegetarian. So it's like her version is veggie sausage, veggie chicken, but it's all about the roux. It's all about the broth and the roux.
Exactly. And they're very good about it in New Orleans. Like on the same menus, you will see,
Do they have like a vegetarian or vegan? I'm not vegan.
Yeah. You'll see like sausage, chicken gumbo, seafood gumbo, vegetable gumbo, something like that. And it's very interesting from restaurant to restaurant to restaurant, all like right next door to each other down in the quarter. The color of the roux, and now I usually want a dark roux. You cook that flour down a bit, but you'll see like some are very light, some are very gray, some get very dark, like rusty.
I like a dark
color.
roux.
Yeah, it's the way to do it.
I think you would like it, Chris. I imagine.
I love all foods.
Based on what I understand of your palate, I think
Yeah.
you would like
The,
combo.
the next company-wide meeting, I think we're going to go to the Overlook Hotel, but maybe New Orleans. That's closer to me.
I'll
So
go
what are we
back.
drinking tonight? What are we drinking tonight, guys?
What are we drinking tonight? I have a cup of coffee that's just about done in my
Okay.
Enterprise cup, and
Nice.
and trusty glass of water.
Nice.
I'm
Gotta
so
stay
exciting.
Stay
Gotta
hydrated.
stay hydrated.
Do it.
Mr. John Irons.
As always, Coke Zero.
Coke Zero.
Keep it simple. Coke
Mr. John
Zero or
Champion.
some Coke Zero facsimile that may be more affordable in the grocery store. Well, we used to call it the generic brand.
Yes.
You caught me at a good time, kind of, late on a Saturday night, and I opened up a little. Here we go. Opened up a little Japanese whiskey. This is Kujira Okinawa, and
Ooh,
it's really nice.
that looks good. Virgin, of
smooth.
course, the demonetizing people, of course.
Yeah. And now the secret here is, well, boy, I don't know if you can see the legs on that. I don't know if they show
Wow.
up. Maybe not. But I
That
have
looks
this
good. It's hypnotizing.
little fakakta glass that doesn't have
Yeah.
a flat bottom,
Does
so
it have a
kinda
base that you
rolls.
sit it on?
But no, not even a base. I just have a little coaster here, and it just kind of
Oh.
wobbles and it sits.
Nice.
Wow.
And I just put just a single drop of water, and that's how I
Ah.
take my
So it's a
whiskey.
mixed drink.
Wake it up a little bit.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's
I'm-
really nice. Yeah.
I'm drinking. I started drinking these mini sodas without
Mm-hmm.
ice because I like my mini sodas without ice.
How
Okay.
many? Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff.
You're practically James Bond, sir.
All right, so let's go back into this episode.
Mhm.
What did you guys love about it? I know it wasn't quite for you, but what did you love about
You
it?
know what I loved?
What?
I loved that we learned the name of Ben and Cassidy's child, which is apparently a daughter. If you look when Sam is pressing Jake's name, sort of above it and to the left, it says it's either Ayana or Ayala. I couldn't
Yeah.
make out exactly what it was, but it's nice to
And
know
it looks
that
like Jake had a kid, and he
It-
had a stepchild, maybe, and the wife either or the mother of his child either had children before or after she was with Jake.
Oh wow.
It was like a different fork in the family tree, I think.
Cool.
I didn't pay close attention to any of that because I knew that the internet would. Like there's like the walls of information when
You
you
know,
walk,
I-
when you walk into the
Sometimes I'm
museum.
just like Sean will get it.
Yeah,
Cetacean
I did.
observations.
I did pause on those when she was in the like impossible dream classroom where
Mm-hmm.
all the unexplained mysteries of the universe.
Uh-huh.
They
Oh, what
did
did
have.
they say?
They
There was
had
a
the
bunch of them.
They had the Guardian on the Edge of Forever in there. They
Yep.
had other Easter egg. I think was like the what is the race that Picard discovered, and then the whole season of Discovery was about them.
So
That-
in
the
the
galactic
chase,
barrier,
the
I think, made an
progenitors-
appearance.
The
Mm.
progenitors. Yeah.
Progenitors,
Galactic
yes.
I thought
barrier.
that was very cool.
Yeah, they were talking about the galactic barrier was in there.
There's
Some
a
of
lot
the
pausing.
Some of the Easter eggs in the Cisco Museum, of course, was the Bajoran orb, but he also had his baseball and the Niners hat was in there. And
Oh yeah, and the typewriter.
Penny's
I saw the
printer.
typewriter and I got
Yeah,
verklempt.
that was good.
Okay,
So-
now I'm so sorry that there's ground that we cover in Reactor that obviously I'm kind of covering here as well because
Mhm.
it's my opinion. I brought this up in Reactor. I open it up to the three of you. Why is Benny's typewriter in the museum?
Fan wank.
Thank you.
But
Okay,
but, yeah, because
All
it
right.
didn't exist.
it
Right.
doesn't
Or it
exist.
exists and none of the other stuff exists.
Here's
Right.
how I
He's-
justified it. I
It's
didn't-
real. He told us
or-
over and over again that it's real.
It's real.
It's real.
I'm assuming he either got it after that all happened to him, or he replicated it, or something.
But like, how does that conversation go? Okay, guys, I had this dream, and it was about all of us in 1950.
And you were there, and you were
and
there,
you were
and
there,
you
and
were
you were
there.
there, and there. But there was this typewriter, and in fact, you know what? I'm going to manifest this physical typewriter in a replicator.
You make
Uh,
it sound like that's the craziest thing. That
Maybe he came back with it. Maybe it
Benjamin
was like the
Sisko.
Resican flute.
Benjamin
When he woke
Sisko,
up, he had the typewriter in his bunk.
emissary of the
holding it on
prophets,
his
say,
chest.
"Hey guys, I had a dream about an alternate reality." They'll be like, "Cool, okay, what do we need to do?" They're on
Yeah.
board. And especially like, even if he didn't make it, I didn't think that Ben made it. I figured Jake made it. I figured he
How many
told.
people are keyed into his dream?
No, I mean, I figured he
you know.
told Jake. I in my head canon, he told
Okay.
Jake that story because Ben Cisco was very like, don't forget where you came from. So this would be like
Okay.
a story that they would be talking about. He knows Jake is a writer, and at some point Jake gets inspired and he creates that typewriter. This was inspired by a story that my father told me. Blah 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 blah.
All right.
That's
real
all
life for me-
completely fabricated
Yeah.
from
In real life, for me, it was kind of like showing the touchstones of Ben Sisko's life as we know it, and it was kind of like, okay, member berries,
Yeah.
start opening up your heart. So by the time we see Jake Sisko, then the waterworks flow.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
like an abrupt thing. It's like it leads up to it. It's almost like a visual version of like a musical cue to let you know that this is the emotional time for me.
Yeah.
I didn't notice until I started recording, but I could typically my last minute Halloween costume is Nick Fury. I can do an eye patch. I can do
Nice.
a trench coat. I
I thought you were going to say Benny Sisko.
well, now
Yeah.
now I can do adult Jake Sisko. I just get the blue,
Yeah, dude.
I like that.
keep
He
the head
was looking
shaved.
good.
Yeah.
Mr. Champion, did you get
Yeah.
a heads up that Sirach was going to be on this at all?
Yes, that was spoiled for me.
Okay.
So, oh well. But I
Yeah.
didn't know the context, and
How long did you know?
Just a few months. I mean, not like ages and ages, because I typically don't look at scripts or anything coming in, because honestly, I don't want to know. And
Yeah,
when we were
yeah,
doing
yeah, you
Mission
don't wanna
Log
be
Live, and it
spoiled.
was only Mission Log Live, I'll tell you, during the very first season of Mission Log Live, when we were covering Discovery, and in that first season, the big question was about Lorca. Whoa, what's this guy's deal?
Mhm.
And somebody called into the show and said, I bet he's from the Mirror Universe. And text started popping up from Rod going, change the subject, change the subject, change the subject. And, okay, but I wrote back to Rod and I was like, they don't know. They're just doing what fans do, which is speculating. And by the way, I don't know because I haven't read ahead. And every now and then he'll let something slip or somebody, and I'm like, I don't want to know because I don't want to engage in a conversation about something that hasn't happened yet, you know?
Mhm.
So yeah, but it was spoiled for me. I thought it was very cool. But I didn't know context. I didn't know how the story was going to play out. Yeah.
When we did our series preview just from the trailer, we were guessing out loud that this might be a good vehicle for like a holodeck, any character from, the 90s Trek or even some
Yeah.
original series just to show
Yeah.
up for a minute.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's cool that actually did happen.
Yeah.
Talk about good acting by Sirach. I've been watching The Seventh Rule since they started. Well, I watch it very often.
Yeah.
But I've been watching
They're
it
great.
since they started covering Starfleet Academy. And
Yeah.
Sirach's like, what was her name, the actress?
Yeah.
Knowing watching it, knowing full well he did a couple days with her.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
That's
doing
good.
good. He's not
He's
letting
good
it on
actor.
at all. So I can't wait to watch that episode. So,
Total pro.
yeah. But yeah, great acting both sides. So
Yeah.
he's living the gimmick, keeping
Yeah.
it kayfabe, right?
Kayfabe,
Yeah.
there you go. There you go.
Kayfabe, yeah. I tried to get him for an interview, not yet. So we'll see. Probably doesn't want to do it until after.
Speaking of legacy actors, we had
Yes.
a good helping of Robert Picardo in this one.
Yeah.
Aside from the dinner scene where he does introduce more opera into Star Trek, which is going to play into a new show that I'm planning to do for Treksploration Network, they had that one scene of sort of recurring theme with him this season. Sam talks to him about the Prodigy crew, and he abruptly walks away.
Yeah.
This one, she's talking about loss. And he's like, you just deal with it, you forget about it, you get over it. Basically, walk it off, kid. And he's
Yeah.
angry. Now,
Yeah.
I'm wondering where they're leading this. Are we going to get a Doctor episode that shows
We have
like
to.
maybe some
Yeah.
tragic thing happening?
Yeah, they've done it too much. They've mentioned it too many times for it to not go.
I
somewhere.
We
really
need a
wanna
Doctor
know.
episode.
Yeah.
Once per season.
Yeah. There has to be. I mean, for that matter, look, we have Chancellor Ake, who's Lanthanide, and she has hundreds of years of lifetime where people have come and gone, people have died, and okay, I don't want to spoil anything in the next episode. We learn some of that history, you know? So there's definitely tragic depth to these characters as well. Yeah.
So I think that's an interesting thing to sprinkle in because, I mean, John, I know that you were talking about messages, morals, meanings, because that is the stock and trade of mission log. I think when we approach Academy, I think that it has to be about what life lesson is learned here as opposed to what is the bigger allegorical Star Trek theme. And I think that this episode really, I don't know about nailed it, because it was a little bit, as you said, low-hanging fruit, a little shallow, but I think it is satisfying for these characters where they're at in their lives. Learning how to be themselves. That's what the whole last episode was about with Caden. I keep saying that, Jaden. But that episode was amazing because they managed to layer so many bits of Star Trek theme and Klingon history and Idic, and it was so layered. This one was much more surface on the top, like you said, but for all that, I think it's satisfying for what it tried to do. By the way, if anybody is shying away from comment sections for your favorite shows because of all the damn trolls that are out there, I urge you to go read the comment section for our episode in Vox and Excelso, because God damn it, they are brilliant people watching us.
Good.
And some of the comments that they talk about analyzing that episode and breaking it down, I feel like the world's biggest dope. It's just like, you should be hosting a show, because it is just so
There's room enough for all of us.
yeah. Well, I have to say, go back and take a look at the comment section for Vox and Excelso, because
That's great.
Wow. Oh, wow. So
I will.
But
I'm one of those people who avoids comments, just like I
Yeah.
avoid spoilers
Yeah.
and trailers. I avoid
It's-
comments after the fact.
It's been rough. There's a lot of trolls there that are just hating on us because they hate what the new show is about. And, you know, we do this because we like to have fun talking to each other. But, of course, we want to be liked, right?
yeah.
So it's a little heartbreaking when
Well,
you see
you gotta.
just
The thing
insults
is, we had a
just
lot
to
of
hurt us.
trolls. We had a lot of trolls in the
Yeah.
beginning because that was the whole MO, was just
It
hating on the
was,
show no
given
matter
to them
what.
by their leaders to a mission to do.
Or bots or whatever. But as the show has gone on, those voices have died down significantly, and the fans that really enjoy the show or have like critical but positive and negative things to say, but not just automatically hate, are coming more to the forefront, because keeping up vitriol takes a lot of energy, and just to do it needlessly, you're going to peter out eventually, because the algorithm moves on to the next thing, or you find something else to bitch about that seems new and fresh when it's the same old bigotry in a new package. That leaves room for the people who are actual fans to come on and discuss these things in a substantive way. And I'm happy to see that trend as we go forward with Academy, because it is a good show. And I'm glad that it's finding an audience.
The trolls seem to be dying down, I think. And I see the same comments over and over again on other podcast networks and other videos and review videos. And it's the same. It seems like the same people or type of people or group of people over and over again. So
I hate bad faith arguments, and it's so frustrating to see the same nonsense over and over and over again. And I just keep thinking, okay, your arguments are trite and unoriginal and so absolutely two-dimensional. I don't love everything in Star Trek. I don't love everything in the post-2016 Star Trek. That is a given, you know? But it is far more interesting to me to have a conversation, to try to meet these shows where they are and just see, like, well, what are they trying to do? And are they accomplishing that? It doesn't have to be written for me specifically. That's fine. Starfleet Academy is not intended for me specifically, but even if there are elements of these shows that don't engage me on some level, I'm finding enough of the big themes, the big Star Trek in there, that I can appreciate it. You know, if you're not finding that, just please don't watch. Go find
Yeah.
something else to do with that hour in your week. You'll be so much happier. You know?
Yeah, the show's definitely not aimed for us.
No,
But I'm glad
no.
that there's people that are putting things in there for us as we're
Yeah.
watching it to
Yes.
enjoy.
Yeah.
But a good
Yeah.
story is always a good story. So,
Yeah.
and speaking of John, you and I both have teenage daughters, right? Did your daughter get to watch this one as well? Because I know she watched the last one.
Is that John? Me, John?
Yes,
I
John.
do not have a daughter.
John.
Yeah.
John Irons, a beautiful John.
And my name's not
Sorry, I
John.
got to get used to
You know
it.
what? Honestly, we're like 2 hours in. It's surprising this is the first time that's happened.
Yeah.
No, she didn't watch it, but actually, my son,
Oh.
who is 12, was watching it with me. But it's it's late, and I started watching it at 10:30, 11 o'clock. So we both fell asleep on it. I'd seen it before. Actually, no, I think he was awake for most of it. He said he liked it. In
was what I
fact, he
called
said he's like, "What is this?" All right, so I know I've discussed this before. I don't make my kids watch Trek. I don't really make them watch sci-fi. I've semi forced them to watch Alien and Aliens today.
Oh, cool. You have to.
Yeah, I mean, but
What is it? Make Good Decisions, The Robot. What was the other one?
No, it was I got it. I got the
You got it?
ABCs, the alphabet,
ABCs.
yes,
the robot,
yes,
make decisions,
yes.
and the
That's it.
robot is second because it's easiest. I listen to you, John.
You
If I
to
have
learn the
kids,
alphabet.
that's
It's
going to be
fundamental. Reading is
That's-
fundamental, and learning the
What did he
robot
think?
inspires us both fine
Like
motor
it.
skills and a sense of whimsy. Anyway,
Yeah, what do you think of it?
he liked it. He
Good.
liked it. He was like, oh, he's like, what is this? I was like, okay, this is Star Trek. It's like, oh, okay. So what's Star Trek about? Oh, well, Star Trek is, okay, it's a science fiction show. There's a bunch of different Star Trek shows, but the first one was about, you've heard of like Captain Kirk and Spock. This is a show that they're from. They're on a ship. It's in the future. Earth has gotten it together. There's no more crime or poverty or war or anything like that. And Earth has joined with other planets that have also kind of evolved and gotten past all their problems. And they've got this federation of planets. It's like the UN, except it's planets. And so the show is about them being on a ship and exploring different planets. And every episode is like they're on a different planet and they meet an alien or they do a thing. And it's all cool. It's like, great. All right. So that was my elevator pitch for Star Trek. I was like, and there's other series and other series usually about other ships with other captains. And they each kind of have their own thing, but that's basically what Star Trek is. And in this one, this is the first one where you see all of those shows were about the captains and what they're doing, on their ships. But this is the first one that's like for kids. It's like the kids, like they're in college and they haven't learned how to be captains yet. So it's like they're in college and they're doing all the stuff. So they're learning, stuff about the universe and stuff about how to lead and stuff like that. So that's my elevator pitch for he liked it. I don't know if he's going to ever watch another episode.
Well, you never know.
But he
Well,
saw this one and he liked this one.
Cool. Genesis is going to be the captain. I asked Serenity because she's 13,
Mm-hmm.
13-year-old girl. Asked her what she thought. She said, "I love this episode so much. It happens to be my favorite." I'm guessing of Starfleet Academy. I have never seen DS9. I know I will watch it soon, and I still love this episode. I literally cried at the end. That's how much it meant to me. With only having seen like 3 episodes of DS9, I loved it.
Wow.
So that's cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
There you
cool.
go.
Yeah, after she saw this, she wanted to start a DS9 rewatch. I was like, okay, that sounds like
Always.
speaking to the
time.
kids. There you go.
Yeah,
And
so-
honestly,
Mission accomplished.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
as much as the online trolls take away, like at the end of the day, this is what I want. I want to hear from the people that this show is touching, particularly that new audience. Like, is it working? I don't know if this will make new Star Trek fans or not. We won't really know until this series runs its course. But I can tell you, like, I loved a few years after the J.J. Abrams movies started coming out, going to STLV and asking the audience, like, how many people are here at your first convention and how many people's first exposure to Star Trek was the J.J. Abrams movie. And it was shocking to me how many hands went up. I thought that was so cool because there were so many old school Trek fans who just didn't want anything to do with those movies. Believe me, I have my criticisms of those too. But I loved that it brought in new people who went that extra mile to say, like, yeah, I'm actually going to travel somewhere and hang out with a bunch of other Trekkies, pay money to do it. Like, that was awesome.
I had the same experience at Star Trek Las Vegas for Disco. I was shocked when they ran the disco panel. I went in there and it was crowded, and there were so many people standing up and saying, "This is my favorite Star Trek. This is how I got into Star Trek."
Yeah.
And for me, it wasn't my favorite. It was mostly the drawn out stories.
Yeah.
And little substance. I love the characters. I loved a lot of it. I just didn't get the Star Trek feeling that I wanted from it.
Right.
So, but to see these people, saying that's how they got into Star Trek, it's amazing.
Oh, look, I mean, when I went to STLV for the very first time, that was 2006. So it's a year after Enterprise was over. And I only started Enterprise in seasons 3 and 4, and then went back and rewatched 1 and 2 when it was out on DVD, right? But I had heard all this negative stuff on the internet, and I was like, I'm not really interested. But then I watched season 3 and 4, and I was like, oh, I really like this show. I like the characters. I like the stories they're telling. So when I went to Vegas in 2006, I walked in there thinking, wait, am I the only person who likes Enterprise? I'm glad Bakula's here. I'm glad Connor and Dom are here. I want to meet those guys. But wow, people really hate this show. And then I saw the crowds that those actors got. And let me tell you, Bakula's crowd eclipsed Shatner's,
Oh, yeah.
And it was great.
We
It
have
was great.
we have some
We're
Scotty
very much in the
Bakula.
heart of the Bakula fandom.
Yeah.
Okay,
My
yeah.
hand link behind me is signed by Bakula. So.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
we did the Quantum Leap podcast for probably a dozen years now, and we've met him so many times. We travel around the country. We meet up with the same people to meet him again, and he says, "Aren't you guys tired of me yet?" But great guy.
But it really
Oh, yeah, we
reinforced,
love
like,
Enterprise.
I don't know, in the real world, not the internet, in the real world, people actually like to get together and celebrate their fandoms. Doesn't mean they love everything, doesn't mean they see eye to eye on everything, but they just, they love the idea of getting together under at least some sort of common bond and celebrating this thing. And that's why I love to ask people, like, look, if I don't get what you love about something, if I don't get the series that you love, I really want to know. I want to know what speaks to you in that. And I want you to love it as much as I love something else.
This is what brought up thoughts while I was watching the episode, how all these trolls and hateful people on the internet and just hateful people in general trying to destroy the world, care enough to try to destroy Star Trek as they're destroying the rest of the world. But those trolls are really gonna be set off if they actually get wind of this episode. I doubt they're even watching the series, but if they get wind of some of the things in this episode, because I'm one of those people that love and love all about loving love and all that stuff. But I think there's going to be some triggers in this episode. What do you guys think about that?
I don't know if specifically what you're talking about, but I love Jaden's skirt. He pulled it off great.
Yes. That was one of the images that got
like one
out
of my
early
favorite
that
things.
they were freaking out about. Yes.
Oh, really?
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
I mean, I know you love, but I
Kyle.
love Kyle. I
Means-
think
it
Kyle
means
is,
Kyle.
is just an amazing
great.
Kyle's amazing.
character. Yeah.
Oh, and I was so
and
excited.
their
to see
budding
more Kyle.
relationship is so much fun to watch.
I love
I
seeing
think it's
Jackie
Jackie,
Cox
yeah.
on there as the bartender.
Yeah.
Wasn't she the one that did the red carpet a couple years back at a Star Trek
Yep.
anniversary day?
Yep.
Yeah, that was great that
Yep.
they included her in that. So that was
Yeah.
cool.
And I love how cool she was about disarming the little battle there between Starfleet and the War College. Like, I'm sure this is important to you, but yeah. It was
Just
just
another day at
perfect.
work for her.
Is
Yeah.
anybody else getting sick of the War College rivalry thing?
Yeah, it's a bit overplayed. Like, I also expect those kids to be professional, ambitious, somewhat disciplined. Like, they can't just always be jerks all the time. That's why you need a guy like Kyle. But
Yeah, Kyle's amazing.
I was
but
fine
they-
with it.
this has to be part of the arc where they realize that they all need to coexist and cooperate.
But okay, but the workaholics didn't really do anything this time. They were obnoxious, but that's not a
Yeah.
crime. That's not an offense.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
it
yeah.
was Sam who swung. They were just like, oh, what you doing in my club? What you doing in my club? And she's like, just stop. And then they
I'm
stop.
just like,
Yeah.
it's just one note, you know. I'm just this
But it-
scowling Romulan girl is always stepping up
Yeah.
and giving them trash talk, and it's just like enough.
I'm fine
Yeah.
with it. I'm fine with it because
Did anybody get like a West Side Story vibe,
literally
like they were
because it took
about
up
to
so
maybe
little
snap
space.
fingers and start to dance fight?
Oh, if we could have had a dance off in there, that would have been great.
No,
Okay, so feel free to cut
Okay,
this
Romeo
out.
and Juliet, maybe. I don't know.
Feel free to cut this out. But in
It seemed a little West Side Story to me.
not the previous episode 3 with the plants and the prank war. So Caleb gets hit in the head in the gym, and he comes over, and they're like they're facing off. He's like, I smell. I'm like, am I the only one who like saw House Party a million times? And I don't know if, again, feel free to cut this out. It's like, I smell is the line. And not thinking back, like I don't think you could say that in a PG film these days. And feel free to cut that if or bleep it or whatever. But I was like, are they really going
I'll
to?
believe it, but
Because
nobody
they
will know what
cussed
you're
in the
talking about.
show.
Some people know what you're talking about.
Oh, they will. If I see
Yeah.
it's from House Party, there's blurs out there. They'll get it. They're blurs like me. I didn't. Again, I don't watch any trailers, so I didn't know that that shot had gone out there. So I thought it was a wonderful surprise. Yeah, and also it wasn't until my third viewing of last week's episode that I got that his parents were a what do you call it, a triangle, not a triangle, triumvirate. Basically, he has three
Triad?
parents. Triad. Yes, thank you. Yeah,
They
Yeah.
called it out as a polycule, and
yeah. He said
episode
it's
3.
like you have two dads and mom. Yes, it is a triad house.
Yeah.
Triad is the word. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, two dads and a mom. I was like, why don't I remember the other dad? Because he never says anything. That's why.
Yeah.
He's like he does. Like they didn't give him one. I was like, that's why I didn't remember. Okay.
Right.
So it's my fault, but it's not totally my fault. They could have given him something to say.
We had a little
we're
development
not here to talk
in
about
the
that
Tarima and Caleb story in this episode. I like that.
Sure.
What did you think about that?
that to me was the most teeny bopper part of it, but it was welcome. It was fun. I think their chemistry is really good, and so seeing them together is always nice. And the fact that she kissed him made it a little bit more palatable, because just the visual of it with her leaning against the wall. Caleb is so freaking huge. It's almost like he's just like leering over her, and he's not. It's not his fault. It's just the way that it was framed, but it looked a little bit threatening at first. But the fact that she's the one that initiated everything alleviated some of that weird feeling for me. And I know that's just a me thing. Like, that's obviously it's not there. It's not there in subtext. Caleb is not that kind of person, but I really enjoyed that part. The short answer is yes, it was good.
It is the most
Zoe
YA
Steiner.
romance
Wow.
novel element. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I like her. I'm kind of tired of them because I'm tired of all the back and forth. She's a betazoid. Like she can get emotions. Like she can read them. She read them like a book at other people. So like why the dance? And I get that is
The
the
shot
thing.
collar. The shot
I
collar.
know she's got the shot collar.
Inhibitor.
Did you have it
collar.
on
They
in this
never said
episode?
shot.
I didn't notice it.
Oh yeah,
I
it's
didn't
always
notice it.
there.
Okay.
She's
She's
but
doing
I know
amazing,
that this
I think,
is
Zoe.
it's how that part of the story has to play out. I get that, but I also just sort of want them to move along with it and just explore this as a functional relationship. However they want to explore it, however they want to define it, but the back and forth, I'm just like, okay, I'm a little tired of.
I feel about their relationship basically the same way I feel about the war college. I'm like, okay, fine. It's almost obligatory that you need to kind of check in on where things are with this ongoing thing. But it didn't take up a lot of time of the episode, so it's fine. And I will say this, Um, I love Caleb. I think he's a great character. I think he's doing a great job. I think he's doing a great performance. But I like that he wasn't in this episode very much, because even in the last week's episode, that was fully a Jaden episode. Kaylin's still kind of like a major part of that episode, and I'm not even mad at it, because, like I said, I like the character. I'm not mad that he's a part of every significant part of pretty much every episode. But this one he wasn't, because I really let Sam shine. So I appreciate that they don't feel that they always have to have him be a co-star, like a full-fledged co-star of an episode.
Yeah. And I want there to be more of that with the other characters. I want an episode that goes into Genesis' story. I want the episode that goes into Darren's story. They don't all have to be 90% on them, but I'm anxious for those details to start unfolding. By the way, like the one who I hated at first, but now I'm so amused by is Occam. Tarima's brother. Yeah, because it's so funny to me. And again, I apologize if I'm repeating anything that anybody heard in Mission Log Reactor, but he shows up. He's so sort of innocent when he shows up, and he's so a product of that Betazoid formality, being the president's son, but he's a Betazoid. He's got these empathic abilities, and now he's in this situation where he's trying so hard to assimilate with all these other people. He's got to bro it up more than the others. Hilarious to me. So every time you cut to him with his sort of extreme reactions to things, I think it's great. And the actor is pulling that off beautifully.
For me, Occam just watched a lot of 80s teenage movies on VHS.
Exactly.
To catch up with the human bros.
Yeah.
So it's great. I love it.
We're talking about things that we loved. I mean, there are a couple of things that bumped me. Do you guys, I mean, we've been talking about that sort of throughout, but I mean, so Kyonian's vomit glitter, is that real?
Sure.
At first I thought it was from her perspective, Sam's perspective, but then when she said they vomit glitter, maybe that's why they keep trying to sneak bananas in there, because it's funny.
Okay, it's dumb. It's not funny. It's dumb.
She teched it. She gave a science reason, not for the glitter, but like the banana thing.
Yeah.
He's got a banana allergy. Is that real? Yes, it is, Dick. Like, a callback to episode, was it 2? When they're forced to room together?
Yeah.
I'm fine with him vomiting. Why not? Sure. He's an alien. Aliens do alien
Some
stuff.
aliens got to vomit glitter somewhere. Where does all the glitter come from in the world?
That's to me like a tawny touch. Like that's something you'd see on Lower Decks.
I love every tawny touch there is. I
don't know. Like to me, again, the tones are so wildly disparate that it bumps me. So
to me, tawny could do no wrong.
All right. So what if he? Not that I want to list these out, but let's say, what if he vomited, but he vomits and it floats up and evaporates? Would that have been okay?
No, I want him to vomit, because when you vomit, you vomit. It's named for the thing that comes out. You don't glitter. You don't glitter. You vomit.
Some people vomit. I mean,
you vomit. Some people glitter.
Some people,
especially fish people with fish sticks.
Some animals poop cubes.
Wow,
some animal
that must be painful.
Spirals.
I'm sorry I brought this up. Okay, let's move on.
I don't want people to sit in chairs wrong. I don't want people to puke glitter. Right?
You're being very regurgitous right now, Chris.
How does guilty? You got to lambast me in the comments down below.
Let's see. The dinner rehearsal scene in this still drives me nuts.
Agreed.
And tell me, I don't know if I'm conflating this with a moment in another episode, so please correct me or cut this out if I have it totally wrong. There's a moment that we go into a scene and we hear Stephen Colbert as the announcer, the PA system, say, like, cadets, join us tomorrow morning at Muir Woods.
Oh,
it's this episode.
The Morning Wood.
I hate that moment so much It is the show being self-aware, and that is a very Lower Decks, I think,
Yep.
Tawny Newsome thing, because in the early seasons of Lower Decks, instead of just having the moment that references another thing, what you would do is you would tell the joke, and then you would stop, and then you would explain to the audience, oh no, this is the joke that I just told. Here's the reference I just made. And then, like, wait for laughter and then move on with the show. And that, for all the little bits that we've just sort of slipped in with Stephen Colbert making an announcement that was a little goofy, a little off color, and you just sort of let it happen in the background, I'm much happier with that. This absolutely made me cringe. Now, look, I've made that joke before. We've all made that joke before. That's fine.
No judgment.
But in context here, it absolutely took me out of it. Please, Star Trek writers, do not do that again.
Well, it's the fact that he laughed after it. Like,
Yes,
yeah, it's just like, come on.
he had to stop and tell you that it was a joke.
Yeah.
That almost saved it for me, honestly. It didn't.
Oh, really?
It didn't.
Okay.
But it's like, okay, he made a dumb joke and laughed at it himself. Guilty. That's like half my day.
Well, we got Master Debater last episode.
Right.
We got Morning Wood
Yeah.
this episode. So maybe it's one per episode.
So to me,
And again, we
Yeah.
got
Sophomore.
fish stick this episode too.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
So
That's
yeah,
a
but
running one, though, I think.
But to me, that's okay. Only for like the lore of it. Okay, this isn't just he's not. This is an actual AI personality, and he's kind of corny.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily want an episode about the Dean. I don't need him to appear in the Hollow Suite with a body or anything. But
Right.
it is I like the idea that it is a personality, that is a person, and not just
Sure.
Siri giving the morning announcements.
Sure.
That to me was the benefit, the kind of the only
Yeah.
benefit
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
the morning wood joke. So I can spin it. I can spin it.
Okay.
All right, so Mr. Champion doesn't like that, so that won't be my wacky object for my ratings. I'm going to figure out something else.
I mean, how many morning woods can you have, really? How old are you?
Well,
Anymore? Not so much. Back in the day, many.
question, discuss.
Oh boy,
How does a photonic have pa?
oh, yeah.
it does.
Force field.
Yeah.
Oh,
Man,
I think the Bajoran was lying.
We don't know what pi is really. I
soul, a
presume
feeling of
that
a
any
soul.
sentient creature, anything that has a quote unquote soul, can have pa. That to me, that's what I figured pa was. Was
Sam's pa is Orson.
it's like chi.
There you go.
Yeah, she.
All right. Yeah, I just feel like an artificial life form maybe wouldn't have.
Yeah.
I
I don't think she's artificial. She's just different than us.
Well, she is manufactured.
She's an AI.
Yeah.
She was made a month and a half ago.
yeah, but I mean,
Well,
we're
weren't we
all
at one
made.
time? Yep.
All right. Now we're
I
talking.
have
now
a
we're talking
feeling
about LOL, right?
Measure of a
Existential.
Sam. Ooh, hopefully they do that in season 2.
Well,
Measure of
the
a Sam.
question is not whether or not she has personhood, but I would think that, like, if we had a Betazoid convenient, hey, look, we got 2 of them. I don't think they would be able to read emotions from Sam. Sam, what's interesting is she sort of wears all of those emotions out loud, because I don't think there is an internal system. It's just like reaction all the time. And that's why she's always cranked up at 11,
But
No filter.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
but even if that were the case,
Mhm.
telepathy and a spiritualist aren't necessarily doing the same thing in my mind. To me, there's a difference between reading brain patterns and, sensing one's spirit, which is what what I figured pi is. It's a spiritual thing, not a sciencey thing.
Sure.
To me, coming to religion as a skeptic, I just all see it as cold readings. So the Bajoran to me doesn't even realize she's photonic.
I would be Yeah. I would be hard pressed to understand the case for a manufactured intelligence having the sort of vaguely defined idea of a soul, a spirit, a life force beyond like, oh, okay, well, you have to have an energy source to make the hologram generator work, which, by the way, we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, we don't really
curious.
understand how she works in general. I don't like what's if she is. Well, okay, all right, Star Trek experts. There are entities that are just made out of light and Trek, right? They're just the pure energy, like
Organians.
Surely
pure
that's the thing.
energy. Pure energy.
Yeah, that's where the song gets it from. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Which, as a scientific construct, makes no sense at all.
No,
There is no such thing as pure energy. But okay,
Pure energy.
they're you know, the lasers
energy is a
shouldn't sound
measurement.
Matter going
space
really
either.
fast.
Energy is a measurement, not an object. So
When we get Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson on, he can explain it too.
I
This
think-
was the episode.
I think you'll
that
just
had
say what
the
John says.
spoiler.
Yeah, that's nonsense.
This is the episode that had the blue carpet spoiler. Serenity and I were watching the blue carpet for the premiere, and we had already seen the first 6 episodes. And the photographers were getting all the producers up on the stage at once, and then all the actors up on the stage at once, and then everybody at once, and taking all the photographs. And part of that, they were like, during the live broadcast, they were like, okay, all the actors for Starfleet Academy up on the thing, right? And Tawny gets up with everybody else. And I was like, that's a spoiler.
Okay. Yeah.
I was like, that's a spoiler.
Yeah.
But nobody seemed to pick up on that, so that was lucky. What do you think about Tawny being the new Dax? I love it, of course.
Yeah.
You probably knew that.
I
yeah,
love it.
that are just fine. And the
fantastic.
fact that the misdirect with her being Cardassian and just
Yeah.
revealing
Half
the troll stuff.
Cardassian, I guess.
The only thing that bumped me about that is Sam makes the point of saying that she absorbs data instantly, and she's going to take Isla's class.
Isla Dax.
She wouldn't know. It's not listed on the syllabus of the class that she's auditing that it's Isla Dax. Like, that's a reveal at the end. And I get it for emotionally and for story purposes. You want that. But when you step back, she should have known that right away.
I feel like there were a few things where she, for the purposes of somebody saying it so the audience could hear it, where if she had done this full-fledged research, this should not have been a shock to her. I feel like that happened a couple of times. But
Well,
That's a difficult one because technically she should know all the information available.
that's
Yes.
But then what is she doing
point.
there?
that's my point. So
But you got to forgive that.
Well,
there's,
no, but
there's
they-
a difference
they-
between information and experience. Like her
and
knowing
they do
everything.
make it a point. I mean,
That's true.
that's the whole arc. You can't just read the facts about Cisco. You have to learn who he was truly. It's not going to be just in the database. So I think that's her arc of learning to grow, learning to interact with organics in a way that she doesn't have the basis for yet. So this is
and I would guess that would be part
her
of the
learning how
programming.
to be more organic, I guess, right?
That might be part of the programming of being alive, because if you have the ability to know everything instantly, what's the point of living? I guess, because you're not experiencing anything. So maybe holding back. But that's like the whole thing where Data wouldn't have to talk to a computer or type into a computer.
Right.
He would just,
You would just have the information.
connected.
Yeah.
yeah. Bluetooth is hundreds of years old by then.
But there is stuff about Sam's sort of parameters that we don't understand. Like we saw the moments with Caleb interacting with her program. Okay, the interesting concept. Why he would be able to do that makes no sense. And we saw her interact with
He's
that.
Wile E. Coyote. He's Wile E.
is.
Coyote.
Yeah.
Super genius.
Super genius.
but there are things about her that are undefined in ways that the Doctor on Voyager were very well defined. It's like when he was brand new, we know the emitters only exist in this space, but he can jump through the ship's computers to kind of show up on a screen somewhere else. Okay, then we fast forward, then we get the mobile emitter. Now we know what else he can do. Oh, but that emitter has certain limitations. Like we kind of spelled out of that. I don't need everything spelled out about Sam, but I do think there needs to be some limitations, some ways that will serve the story better than just she can absorb information all the time.
Yeah, and the hollow emitters thing is kind of a red herring on this, because I think that if you're in the 80,000th century and everything's programmable matter, anything can become a hollow emitter at any time. But then in the first episode, when the ship is damaged, when Nuss hits it with the programmable matter, all of a sudden the hollow emitters are down. And the doctors, they don't have like the staff they need for the medical emergency. So is it because show, or is it, it would be interesting, but at the same time, that's more wonk stuff. Like, I don't think we actually need it.
Now that you mentioned it. All right, that's fine. That's fine.
Well, no, but I mean, this is good stuff. Like, well, we got comments on Reactor that's all the stuff that I don't care about, which is like from episode 1. Oh my God, why is there a half Jem'Hadar in a woman? Would we all know that Jem'Hadar? And I'm just in my head like, look, 800 years, a lot can happen. We haven't been spoon-fed that information yet. It's okay. It's okay. Like, for this moment, you can use your imagination. We don't need to stop.
They thought of it.
Yeah. We don't need to stop the show to then like handhold you through some long-winded explanation about this. Like, it's okay. It's okay. But when it comes to things that directly affect a character's ability to interact or ability to learn or whatever, like, some bit of guidelines, some bit of explanation, I think will be helpful.
Well, in previous episodes, we've seen they've got like holographic security, they've got holographic medical, and Caleb basically did a quick, logic loop short circuit of the guard when he was trying to jump the fence.
Was funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so that would not have worked on the Doctor. That would not have worked on Sam. So clearly there's different levels, I guess, of intelligence. So I'm assuming they don't count as sentient. But like, how does Sam think of those? Like, what are they to her? You know what I'm saying? Are they like children? Are they like dolls?
Interesting.
Are they like tools? Does she see them as other people, as lesser people, or does she not see them as people?
That might be a good episode where she advocates for them or something. And tries to convince them.
But like, it kind of occurred to me at the moment, but it wasn't enough to bump me. It's not like a problem, No,
but that's an interesting question, because
it's a philosophical question. It's interesting.
You have the Doctor, who evolved over time on Voyager and has been active for more than 800 years and has clearly continued to grow. But you also had 600 or so Mark I holograms that ended up working in like mining operations that are less than, in some ways, the Doctor. That creates this huge rift, right? So now you have
Sam, who's only a few weeks old, who is effectively at the same level. I mean, not of experience, but like of sentience as the Doctor,
but manufactured by a highly advanced species of photonics. So do they, like, as a species, see other photonics as less than?
I would
don't know.
Again, I haven't seen ahead. I don't know what's coming, but we've already said that clearly they're going to do something with the Doctor where they'll talk about a two-hander with the two of them, where they talk about all this stuff and they go into his past and he is like, why he's so cagey about being a mentor. That's an episode I'm looking forward to. I hope it happens.
Yeah.
That's an episode I'm looking forward to.
Yeah,
I'm hoping I get the email in a couple hours. One thing I noticed on this fourth watch, I don't know if you guys did. Who did Nala invite to dinner? Who is she comfortable with? Who is she friends with? It was people.
It was the Doctor and
Jet.
Yeah.
Right. Jets from the past, right? How many?
Yeah.
900 years ago.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
doctor's been around that long as well.
Yeah.
Do they have some kind of like friendship because of their advanced age
It's a good point.
and experience and knowledge that they're more comfortable around themselves because, they remember
You know
what it was like back then?
Yeah,
I like
it's a good
that.
point.
I didn't think of that. I figured it was she invited the doctor because it's like the doctor's hobby is these dinners or whatever, and she invited Jet Reno because she's a little bit wacky. She doesn't like
Comic
she's
relief.
kind of and she knows there's going to be
Yeah.
a silly thing. Like Thok wouldn't have done this. I mean, she would have done it if ordered,
yeah.
but she wouldn't have taken any pleasure in it at all.
Yeah,
So-
she would have
so-
been a gift pig.
Yeah, you
There's
want
no
you
way.
want someone who's going to play along, and I figured she picked the staff who were most likely to play along.
Yeah.
But I like your thing too with the age. That's good.
Well, that actually imbues some kind of meaning in what was obviously padding and filler. So
Yeah,
you could
a guy used Holly
excise,
Hunter for something, right?
but you could excise all that stuff from this episode. It just
Agreed.
Yeah.
it's just nonsense.
It was a lot of
It-
filler.
it-
yeah.
It was a B plot that we didn't need a B plot in
Right.
this one.
And the thing is, they found the humor in the relationship between Kelrick and Ake.
Mhm.
We didn't need to turn it into jokes. That's the problem, and that's where Star Trek. That's where Star Trek very often gets it wrong, is taking a bit of character humor, taking a bit of situational humor, and then just going for the joke instead of letting that bit of uncomfortable relationship or that little natural bit of humor just linger. Like, you can do that and you're fine. I come back to the morning wood joke, like you don't have to just hit me over the head with the joke. It doesn't feel true
or the
to
morning wood.
universe. Yeah, right.
Please don't.
Yeah, it's just that, again, it's that wildly broad lower deck sensibility coming through there. So
Yeah.
in my
And
opinion.
even Lower Decks got way, way better over time. Like, when you look at the difference between the first and like the third or fourth season, it's night and day. And I loved being surprised by Lower Decks over time, because you'd start watching it like early in the season. They do all these weird episodes that focused on just something like, why are we on Klingon with farmers? Why are we here on Kronos with these Klingon farmers? I don't get it. But then there's huge payoff at the end, because they really weave together these stories beautifully. And they found the right balance of, okay, we can have fun, we can have humor, but we're not just making joke after joke after joke to fill some kind of page quota,
So I have one last question, which I expected. I expected this episode to answer this question right off the bat. What in the heck does series acclimation mill mean? What does that name mean?
I don't know.
Does anybody know?
No.
I don't
It
know.
didn't even occur to me to ask.
But I thought that's what I thought that was. They were going to lead with that.
Yeah.
That's fair. I was like, oh, that's Sam, cool. Yeah, that's
Sam.
Yeah.
She leaps around from
Right.
planet to planet, putting a right once.
Da,
once
da,
wrong.
da, 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 da.
So what did you guys think of the like childlike drawings and writing, and she's like writing over the credits?
I loved it. I loved it. This episode, after I edit it, it'll have that all over it.
That's the first thing that bumped me.
I agree with both of you. It bumped me, and I loved it, and then I forgave it.
I like when
Like,
it takes
the second viewing, I was like, oh, okay, because this is all
Right.
like
The
none
first-
of- we don't know how much of this is real at all. Anything
For me,
that's-
it's like a musical. If it's happening in someone's head, they can do anything.
And
You know?
for me, the first viewing, it really aggravated me. This second viewing was like shrug.
I liked one of the thought bubbles. I think was
she had
what
an
is
idea.
dreaming. What is dreaming or something? I was thinking, androids dream of electric sheep. Maybe that might be a reference to that.
All right, we get
There's
really
a-
in the
there's
weeds
a-
here.
There's a
I was pausing everywhere on the rewatches. So
There's a series of
I,
Disney shorts where it's trashy or whatever the new the new stick from Toy Story 4.
Forky.
Forky. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah. Forky.
there's a bunch of things where he's new to existence and he's asking questions like that.
Yeah, I
and
watched
that's
all
what it
of them.
reminded me of. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
John.
that's
What
a
were you
great.
saying?
Yeah, I would say I did not. When it first started, I thought, oh, okay, this is going to be cool, this graphical overlay that, but I it quickly lost cohesion for me because I couldn't tell what it was supposed to be. Like, is this how she sees the world? Is she that sort of childish that it's stick figures? Is this the impression from somebody else? It tonally didn't match. And when we actually see her interface, well, it's something else entirely. So I I get that it was just sort of like a style experiment, but I'm also tired of Strange New Worlds doing style experiments as much as I love that show. So I feel like if you're going to do that, I think you need to also ground it a bit better in the universe where we are. So yeah, when it first came on, I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. We're really going to go out there on a limb and do some weird stuff. But it's so incongruous with the sort of imagined graphics. Like we had that last scene where she's reading the book and Jake appears, but the pages, the words leap off the page. It's like, okay, there's something really poetic and sophisticated about that. And you go, yeah, okay, this is how her brain is assimilating, or brain in quotes, it assimilates the information. And I get it. You can make the case. You can say, well, in the first part of the episode, all of this is so rudimentary. It is also juvenile because she doesn't understand. She's got to have a place to grow. I still think it's just it's a mismatch for me,
I saw it as her mind's eye, and almost like you would write on a whiteboard what you want to accomplish as you're going along and adding things, maybe even in a writer's room, for example.
Sure.
Maybe that's what they were thinking of.
Sure. Yeah.
And then by the end, she was so into it, like you were saying, that when she opened the book, she was actually talking to Jake Sisko.
Yeah.
Is there any, did you have any thought that maybe that was Jake Sisko because he's part wormhole alien?
I didn't.
But
I think maybe on my first viewing, maybe I did, but I didn't think of it this time, and I don't think. I think I'm gonna come down on the side that no, it's not. It's more about her.
Yeah, I think there's
like it
something
being about her.
nice. There's something nice to say metaphorically about an author leaving a piece of him or her themselves in their work. So the metaphor works is that she gets to see a piece of his mind by engaging with the book. If you added to that a layer of technology, or because we talked about with Jessica, like, yeah, there are books that have an AR VR element to them, and you can apply a bit of technology to make something sort of come to life from it. That's cool. Extrapolate that 1,000 years into the future, see what you get. You could do that, but I also think it works that it's not.
I think in my head, that's what it was, but it wasn't from the book; it was from her. And the way that she has this communication with the higher ups, in real time, it's a millisecond for us, but it's a whole thing for her. That's what I imagined was the case. She was just like she had the little idea light bulb, which kind of annoyed me, but in this case, she's having this conversation. She is literally manifesting this other Jake because she can manipulate light. She can, for her, her looking at him is as real as her looking at anyone else, even though no one else would see him, and it only lasts a split second.
Yeah, it's like when you're reading a really good book and you feel like you're there. That's what I got out of it.
Yeah.
Well, our perspective of her perspective of being with him, telling the story.
I've often said, I think I stole this from the author Tad Williams, and he says, when you're writing a book, when you're writing a story, fiction has its own demands. And this to me was a case of that, where you needed the emotional denouement for the episode. You needed that moment to bring Sam's story home. And however it works, however you headcanon the way that scene happened is secondary to the fact that it needed to happen for the story to be complete. And I don't mind that. I thought because it was a beautiful scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have had the gravitas it did if it wasn't for the Visitor. For me, I mean, it directly connects to that, because not only the fact that it's older Jake Sisko, but it's also the Jake Sisko that his father was. Well, that he was able to save his father, so he didn't spend his life trying to save his father and waste his life, but he lived his life. And it was like, to me, the joy and celebration that he did live his life and was able to live a different timeline that we didn't see.
And to carry on Ben's legacy, the lessons that Ben taught him.
Yeah.
So
he seemed to be some kind of prophet or something of some sort. Wow, there's so much more to talk about, but why don't we get to our things that we do, Chris?
Yeah. I mean, we've been going for quite a while. So we usually at this point, would you want to do the episode crush / MVP? I think we maybe need to rename it MVP. People are getting a little bit bent out of shape that we call it a crush now that we're talking about, 17-year-olds.
Well, no, they're 25-year-olds, 26-year-olds. Zoe Steiner is 26.
So I'm gonna, but you know what? If you've noticed those out there,
but we crush on spaceships, we crush on aliens.
It's always the
crush
MVP,
on
really.
Trees, yeah. So what you want to call it. So the person or part of the episode that's not necessarily your favorite part, but it made you connect emotionally, maybe.
So John Champion,
Yes.
offend everybody that's watching. Who's your episode crush?
In this episode specifically, I mean, look, every time Laura Thock's on screen,
episode,
I'm, I think she's great.
Something about her.
Yeah, no, she's great. I look as a series. I really want to see more of Genesis, because I think there's a lot of story to tell there. And as we look forward to stories that kind of narrow down on one character or another, I think she stands out. Now, the crush who is not in this episode, unfortunately, is Lieutenant Ya. And
Becky Lynch, Rebecca Quinn.
Yeah. And as soon as we saw Lieutenant Ya in the very first episode, I texted Jessica and I was like, I don't know who this is. We need more of her. Yeah, because I didn't follow. I don't know which wrestling thing she's in. That was all new information to me.
Yeah.
But I'm like, we found the future ex Mrs. Champion. So that is my all-time crush for this series.
She is the man. She's the last kicker from Ireland. Yeah. She's awesome.
She's great. She's great. Yeah, for the episode, God, that's hard to say. We spend a lot of time on Sam. I think that is a challenging story. I'm so unenamored with the dinner party. Otherwise, I would say my crush would be Jet Reno, because I love her ability to just completely slice apart any sort of social pretense. maybe I'll go with that, because maybe she is the bright shining spot in a scene that I just absolutely do not like.
All right.
I think I like the idea of the crush. I think people were mentioning it in the episode. I guess we're old men now. But to me, when you're reading or watching fiction in a book, a movie, you're not going, oh, look at those crazy 30-year-old kids falling in love. You're experiencing the love story. If you're reading a book, you're experiencing the love story.
Exactly.
So I think it's perfectly okay to have a crush on whoever the leads in the film or love story is, to a point. But if they're in their mid-20s, I think it's okay. But crush for me...
He thinks the dirty old man doth protest too much. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, really, all we can really have a crush on is Uhura in Star Trek, 5?
I'm just playing the devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Look, when you say crush for an episode like this, is it who is attractive to me? Because Lieutenant Ya, oh my God, just incredible.
Who I want to get a cup of coffee with and talk for a couple hours.
Right. Because that's the thing. It's who's the most interesting to me out of this episode.
For me, it's not sexual. It's I want to get to know this person more. I really enjoyed their character. I really enjoy what they're doing. For me, I can't say Sam for this episode, even though I loved what she did in the episode, and that it was all about her. But for me, that's more of she seems more of a kid character.
Yeah.
So, but for me, just the new Dax, Tawny Newsome as the new Dax, I have to go with her. John.
Yeah, I guess we probably should have discussed what the episode. I've been on how many of these episodes? We never talked about what I'm supposed to be doing. For me, when you say episode crush, I always took that as the person who kind of stole the show, or if not the episode, at least the scenes that they were in, like the one like who had the spotlight on them, who did something notable or and so that's what I mean by the episode crush. It's not a question of attractiveness. It's because I think I've given it to ships. I've given it to relationships.
Yeah.
Ships and
Spaceships,
ships.
all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Talking
ships.
flowers.
Yeah. I think so. For me, for this episode, who might crush me for this episode? I guess I as much as I think it had to be Jake. Jake Sisko to me was the most consistently positive, impressive, whatever. It was one of the best parts of this episode, maybe the best part of the episode. So it'd be Jake Sisko.
I thought about that, but for me, he's just on such another level that I don't know. I appreciated his presence while he was there. Chris.
My episode crush is undoubtedly the budding relationship between Kyle and Jaden. I just love the scenes that they had together.
It is
in this.
adorable. Yeah.
And again, the character of Kyle is such a breath of fresh air, especially when juxtaposed against the war bullies. So that one was easy for me. And to mirror what John said, my favorite part of the episode is the surprise reveal that Sirach was in it. I just seeing Jake Sisko again was one of the highlights of this episode. And even though it exists in context of the things that give me the most problems with this episode, but I'll talk about that on my final thoughts. So episode crush is what's their ship name? Kaiden?
Oh, that's so good.
And
yes.
Kaiden, yeah.
And and of course, Jake in his adult Blue Beetle onesie. So are we going to do?
I can't wait to hear Sirach talk about that. Yeah, we're going to do everything.
Are we okay? So we're going to do some. John, you got some more time. We're wrapping it up here, but we always do.
Yeah.
We always do for our guests. We do some trivia. So we got you for 3 questions. Three questions.
Dear God, it's funny.
If for some reason you can't answer them.
Yeah, on the show the
beautiful
other
John
day,
Hopkins will
I
try.
said I have forgotten more about Star Trek than I ever knew. So
These are we usually use these Seen It cards, so they're fairly basic, but I think you'll be all right.
But it's a cooperative, so if you don't get it, me or John can help.
And
I love it.
Yes,
And once
if you
again,
don't get it, Albie can help.
Right. And once again, these cards seem to be oddly prescient. As based on this first question, what ape-like creature attacks Captain Kirk and Dr. McCoy in the original series episode, A Private Little War?
Ooh, I know.
It depends on where you're from, but it's either the Mugato or Gumato.
They're both correct. You're right.
Yes.
Is that a 2-point, Chris?
Mugato. That's 1. John's got 1 out of 1.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did I? I'm so sorry. Did I jump it? Do I need to read?
No.
No, it's all you.
No.
It's all you.
It's these are all you.
Okay.
Yeah. We put you on the spot because you're the special
Okay.
guest.
Oh, thank
All
God.
right.
Yeah.
In the motion picture First Contact, in what holodeck simulation do Captain Picard and Lily Stallone try to hide from the Borg?
Oh, Dixon Hill. And in that scene, shot, by the way, all right, I'm turning my trivia nerd hat. Here we go. Shot right down here at Union Station in a fabulous Art Deco restaurant that was a Fred Harvey restaurant. Later, it became a brewery. Now it just kind of sits empty, but gorgeous space. And all that interior, all that Art Deco is right there at Union Station. So again, when you guys come down and we, welcome you to the office. We'll go down to the train station as well.
That sounds awesome.
And show
It
you that
really
space.
does.
Yeah.
And poor Ensign Lynch's body is still there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Ensign Lynch is he's our mascot. He's back there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you did to Ensign Lynch. What company?
2 out of 3 so far.
2 out of 3. What company did special effects for Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan?
Ooh.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that
know that.
was ILM
That's
because
what I was going with.
Apogee / whoever done the rest of it for motion picture obviously got canned. So they went over to ILM for 2 and beyond until they got 5. So they did 2, 3, 4, and then 5 is like, yeah, we don't have the money, so we're gonna hire
ILM could have done the rock creatures, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah. But the oh my god, the scenes of that bird of prey shooting the space probe and the Enterprise, it looks worse than if I shot my model with my iPhone. I mean,
Yes, it was
it's
ILM.
bad.
Which
Okay,
is,
good.
I think Wrath of Khan has the distinction of being the first feature film that ever showed CGI
Yeah.
with the Genesis.
in the
with
Genesis
video.
Oh, really?
simulation.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And they did so great on the Reliant, too.
All right.
Although, hey, that might be so that was a CG generated animation.
Yes.
But here's a weird Star Trek connection. Okay, Rod's mom, Majel, had a bit
her.
part in Westworld, the original Westworld from 1974, I think. Yul Brynner, Richard Benjamin, and
Face off in the cover.
Yep. And there is a POV scene from the cowboy, the Yul Brynner character in the black hat, that is apparently the very first computer generated image. So
Wow.
I don't know if it counts as like CGI,
How
CG
apropos.
animation, but yeah, there's some claim to fame that it has. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go. More
That's cool.
more
That's
trivia
cool.
than you bargained for. I apologize.
And
Never too
Never.
much trivia.
Never.
Lucille Ball was the producer on Westworld, right? Anyway, it is time now, John Champion. We've been
West
waiting.
Hollywood
Yeah.
rules.
We've been waiting for your Trek and Tell, sir. Do you have a Trek and Tell to share with our audience?
Oh yeah, my stuff. Okay. So okay. I feel like this is just sort of, I describe being a little kid and having the the $6 Million Man running suit with the action figures, the Bego Trek action figures and stuff. And having those toys when I was that little and watching Star Trek, like that was very important to me. But one of the most important things that I got when I was a young fan was the making of Star Trek, the original Stephen Whitfield. And what's important about this one is that it is beat up, the cover is coming off, the spine is cracked, it is all torn up because I must have read it 50 times. And in fact, I've got multiple copies. I even sent one away to have it scanned so I could have a digital copy of it. And it not only was such an interesting look into a show that I absolutely loved and had such an impact on me, but like the book says, like this was written while they were making Star Trek. So to learn at a young age how TV gets made, that also had a strong impact on me. And even though I don't really pursue acting anymore in any kind of professional basis, just like the whole, it all sort of runs together for me, whether it's acting, being behind a mic, directing something, shooting something, that whole creative process all runs together for me. And it's because of a book like this that is just one of the best of its kind anyway. The fact that it's about Star Trek, even better, All right. So love that.
That's cool.
Very important part of my collection. Now, this is new. But it's what I actually, Rod gave me. Now, look, I know it looks dirty, okay, but this is this is a This is a
all of the dick
blue
jokes in this
bricks
episode
of V'ger, I swear it's V'ger.
Okay.
So
like
the
it.
actual model that, you know, here we go.
I'm sorry, you said
See it like this.
V'ger, right?
Yeah. Okay,
That's
because
cool.
Star Trek the Motion Picture, it gets better and better every time I watch it. I love that
agreed.
movie. Yeah, it
Agreed.
just gets better and better every time. And what I can't show you because it's in the other room on the wall and it's 4.5 feet long is this piece of concept art from the motion picture that we have in our archive. So we have just a ton of creative output from the motion picture because that's when Gene was most involved with the most budget. So it was just a creative bonanza, right? And we found this piece that's about, in reality, is about 2.5 feet long, blackboard, pastel, with a collage of a woman's figure, and it's Ilea basically getting absorbed by V'ger, right? It's so cool. And we saw this, and Rod immediately said he wanted to send it off, have a super high-res scan done, and there are 3 prints of it. One in his office, one here, one elsewhere, won't share, but there's one here, and I adore that piece of art. So it's sort of, it's like a secret handshake thing because it doesn't say Star Trek on it. It's not a scene from the movie. It's just this great kind of 70s modernist sci-fi piece, and you have to sort of put it together if you see it to realize, oh, that's what that is. So, wish I could share that with you, but it's too heavy. and it won't fit right here.
Maybe next time.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
So thank you for letting me share a couple of things with you.
It does make sense that someone with the access to the Roddenberry archive would have the best Trek advice. So
Yeah, you'd think.
Yeah.
Well, and John, you obviously did your research. You know I'm a sucker for a book, so thank you for
good.
sharing.
Good.
for sharing that book.
No problem.
Does anyone else have a Trek and tell?
I do not this time.
No.
All right, so I think that's John. No one's going to top what John.
No.
Next time. You got so much cool stuff in your office, though. I mean, come on. Yeah.
It's just
He's got more in the attic too.
Yeah, see? Yeah.
wait
wait
until I fix my library. You'll see all my books.
Cool. Good. Well, all my collectible stuff that I grew up with, and I kept everything back home in Birmingham. So it's still there. And, I get the call every few months like, John, when are you going to come and clean all this stuff out of here?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I had lapsed from Fandom collectibles after about the billionth Christmas where people just gave me random Star Trek
Right.
and I finally said, enough, basta.
Stop.
Stop. And I had so much of it in a box. I was going to mail a bunch of it to my brother because he's like a hoarder collector. He loves to collect.
Oh, okay.
But then Albie said, hey, let's do a YouTube show. And I said, oh, I have to make some kind of background or something. And all of a sudden, a lot of this stuff came out again. But, it's different fandoms. But yeah, I got Quantum Leap. I got Frasier. I got, a bunch of different things. So, but anyway, it's a long way of saying I found a use for all my old crap, too. So don't throw it away. You never know.
No. Exactly.
This is the clean part of my Star Trek collectibles behind me. I just have piles and piles of Star Trek everything. If they put Star Trek on it, I bought it.
I love it.
I need to set up my. Clearly, I'm not as concerned about my background because I don't really collect stuff like that. I don't really have.
Yeah.
I don't really get.
I
things
don't
like that.
recommend it.
Well,
I can't walk around in here
I
freely.
realized that I do. It's just most of it's like in the living room, or it's like in the closet, or it's like at work. So maybe I'll make that part of my New Year's resolution is to get a adequate background for a nerd podcaster and get some shelves and put all my stuff up behind on the wall that's over there.
I have to
Maybe I'll
say,
just send you a case of my doubles.
I don't know if that's true, Albie. You got so much, but I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Now you being on the show has reinvigorated a desire to have collectibles that I never really had. Hence, getting the hand link. Hence, getting this. I showed this. We did the unboxing. We haven't done the video. This Mirror Archer that just came out. Yeah.
Cool.
So it's
Was
really
that from
groovy.
XO6 or who did that?
Yeah, it is. It's their first. It's their first wave. They're doing the
Yeah.
different. Yeah, so it's
Nice.
part of the first wave.
Oh, that's
so
great.
Anyway, yeah. So I mean, I never would have gotten this had we not been doing Treksploration, and I'm so glad that I have it because it's some of the few Enterprise merch things. But anyway, we digress yet again.
One cannot have too many archers.
So yeah. Tell that to King Renly Baratheon.
See,
It's the
I
first,
was gonna,
fantasy name that came to my mind.
I was gonna say, everyone in Lord of the Rings would agree with you.
So,
25th anniversary.
Game of Thrones,
Freaking
Lord of the
Iron.
Rings, we're geeking out all over the place. Final thoughts
All
and
right.
ratings. John,
Final thoughts and
John Irons.
ratings.
Why don't we start with the beautiful John Irons?
The beautiful John
All
Irons.
right, settle down. I think this episode was kind of right in the middle for me. Like, again, not a bad episode. And so final thoughts first. There was like one thing that I had two more things. So I know we're running over the 5-hour mark, but I'll make it quick. One, yes, Mork and Mindy. Yes, the big head from Third Arc. Also, Twilight Sparkle, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. At the end, that was her assignment at the end of every episode. She had to write to the Queen to tell her what she'd learned that week.
Yeah. Yes.
Also, a fantastic show, by the way. I'm not even exaggerating. It's really, really good.
100%.
So that last scene where she's talking, and the whole scene, obviously, she's talking to the camera. The last scene, she's talking to the camera. She's talking directly to Ben Sisko. And they move the camera around. And you think she's going to be talking to like a statue or the book or even the tree or something, but she's just kind of looking out the window. That to me felt kind of hollow, I guess. It's like, it seemed like there was supposed to be something more there. Because if she was just staring out the window, like, I don't know. Was I the only one that seen even who?
I thought she was assuming
Hit
he
weird.
was a godlike being and she could just talk to him.
All right.
Was that
I
who
kinda
she
thought
was
that,
speaking to the
yeah.
who commander? Was she the commander? Was Ben Sisko the Commander Maddox?
I think I got the sense she was talking to us at the beginning. She was like, "Hi, my name's Sam." I didn't think she was introducing herself to Ben. I figured that she was
Okay.
talking to us, and at the end, she was talking to Cisco.
A little confusing.
Well, you know what? No, think about it, because she starts, it doesn't make sense that she's talking to us. Actually, thank you. You actually helped cement something in the episode. Who the is she talking to? Quite frankly, she says, "Are you out there? Can you hear me? You're the only one who knows what I'm going through."
You're right.
So she must have been talking
was
to
talking to
Cisco
Cisco
this
the whole
entire time.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
good call. I never even put two and two together, but you got
yeah.
you got closure there. It all
Yeah.
comes
Was
full
that
circle.
all through the orb?
Oh no, it's just I
No.
think that she's just talking to him.
Because it couldn't have worked through the orb because it wasn't a real orb; it was a hologram.
It was a
of an orb,
hologram
right?
orb, but doesn't mean it couldn't have worked necessarily. If
Because she's a hologram.
they could have made it. They could have trekked it and made it work. I think.
I don't know.
Because it's a holographic projection of a real thing, of the real orb. She's a holographic entity, so in theory, they could have said a thing. Lightning strikes.
It might be like a
Hologram
matter of
rules.
perspective. Was it where the holodeck thing acted like the real thing on the planet?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know.
All
They're
right.
interdimensional beings. They can do stuff. Anyway,
Yeah.
Oh god.
We're all voxels
I also
anyway.
little subtle note. I liked that Cisco had become so deified that they don't even allow pictures of him anymore. I thought that was a really good touch, like a la Quran.
I thought it was cool too. I think that was just the way that they got around not showing an actual image of Avery.
well,
Yeah, they didn't
yeah,
have to pay like
sure, in real
$300.
life, but
Yeah.
gonna be-
So are we incorporating our favorite parts into our final thoughts and ratings?
Gonna be
I guess
that
so.
was
Yeah, I
into
think
it.
I glossed
Okay.
over that. So
I'm sorry.
no
No,
problem.
I just
No.
it was the only
You're
note that I
going.
hadn't said anything about.
Cool. Yeah.
That
I got
and-
a couple
and,
too.
Twilight Sparkle. Okay, final rating.
Twilight Sparkle.
Yeah.
I'm a Pinkie Pie guy myself.
I'm going to give this episode 3 light-based tequila shots out of 5. It's my lowest rating so far, but still not bad. But yeah, it's fine.
okay.
It's all right.
Okay, I'm gonna go. I respect everyone's opinion here, but I'm not gonna let you make me sad about this episode. I love this episode.
Good.
Good for you.
I think the love for it will grow over time as we analyze it, talk about it amongst all of us and our friends, and understand it more. But surface level, I feel like this is right up there with like Data's Day. You know, like a really good episode, not one of the best, but a really good episode. And the fact that it gave me the closure I needed for all these years for Deep Space Nine, and it gave me a new Dax. And it was just fun and new and fresh. And there were moments in here, like favorite parts. Like I loved seeing Sam dance. I love seeing her joy. I loved seeing more of Sam and her character, because as soon as like all the character lists came out and they described who was going to be what, I thought Sam's going to be like the Spock or Data of the series, and we're going to see humanity through her eyes and follow her as a main character. And then this is episode 5. We finally get to her. I was disappointed up until then for the whole 3 hours and a half that took me to get there. But I just love her character, and I want to see more. And I think that'll be like a Spock, Data, Doctor kind of character eventually, if given enough time. And for this early on, I think she did really good. The actress, what was her name?
Carice Brooks.
Yes, I just loved everything about her. I loved her portrayal. I loved when she said, "That's what I'm talking about," like in like some kind of New Jersey or Brooklyn accent or something, wherever she's from. I just love the whole thing. And the fact that it makes me cry every time. I'm going to go beyond 5 to give this a better average, because I'm feeling like you grumpy grumps are going to give it low
Look,
ratings.
man, don't you do your rating, and I'll don't have to adjust based on me. You just do your thing. I'll do my thing.
I'm going to give it 9 Jumjaw sticks out of 5.
Wow.
9 Jumjaw sticks.
Wow. Okay.
Going back. All right.
John
All right.
Champion, final thoughts and ratings.
Okay. So I'll go back to what I said earlier. I do think that this episode is it is either Schrodinger's episode or it is a Rorschach test. Now I think that it is an aspirational episode done with the great intent to be this sort of love letter to DS9. And like I said, I cannot wait when this episode drops to see what the kind of global reaction is to it. How do people feel one way or the other? Are they going to be as excited to see the return of favorite characters? Are they going to feel like the objects in the museum are worthwhile and thoughtful and welcome? Are they going to feel like these are member berries designed to just sort of grab you and force you to feel something? I think this is wildly disconnected between the dinner scenes and what we get out of character motivations and what we get out of kind of the parameters of the universe that we're in, given that we're also just trying to tell this thoughtful story that wraps up the Cisco arc. So it's tonally all over the place. There are good things here, though. I actually like the scene at the Academy bar. I think there's a lot of good stuff there, even if we go like, okay, having 12 virtual shots of tequila, bad idea. Somebody could have fixed that early on, but we get that really nice scene with Jaden. Even when Sam is the instigator of the bar fight, like, kind of works, you know. I think that's all right. I like seeing Jackie Cox there. I do like Tawny. I like the Dax reveal. I like the little hidden pieces we get, like the Guardian and the progenitors. But I just feel like this episode bit off more than it could chew. And then what it ended up with was something that really didn't go for it with the big ideas. Instead, it just sort of found itself settling back down to these very obvious tropes of like, people need love, people need friends. Like, all right, okay, fine, but
You're not wrong.
I need friends.
Yeah, we all do, but it felt like they were really swinging for the fences, but then that's where they ended up, So, out of 5, I think I'm just gonna have to land dead center at 2.5. And it's going to be 2.5 gumbo rations in those cool metal boxes that they have.
Yeah.
Love those.
Yeah.
All right.
Very nice.
So we're going to end up at 2.5 because you are either going to be glass half full or glass half empty on this episode. Either it is going to work for you because it fulfills that DS9 need you have. It's going to scratch that itch. You're going to go like, yeah, that is exactly what I wanted. I'm so glad Academy did that. That's for you, Albie. Or
It's healing for me.
good. So you get the positive side of that 2.5. The negative side of that, the reason we land dead center is I feel like it's kind of much ado about not so much, not nothing, but not a lot. So I hope the people who love it continue to love it.
Yes.
I'll say that as my final statement.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah. I have to say, we talked about a lot of stuff here, and this
We did.
episode was stylistically and narratively much different than anything we've seen, not only in Starfleet Academy so far, but in a lot of Star Trek. You don't get shows like this in Star Trek. And I think whether or not you like that, whether or not you like that approach, whether or not you like the broad nature of the way they presented the reality that Sam lives in, that's all comes down to preference and stylistic choice. But when you talk about now getting some kind of bow put on Deep Space Nine, John, you called it a love letter. Albie, you said that it scratched that itch. It gave you the closure you needed. I disagree wholly. And that's why this episode really bumped me. And that's why I find one aspect of this episode well nigh unforgivable. I know it's supposed to be a love letter to Cisco. I know it's supposed to be a love letter to Avery. But I feel like this is to DS9. Is the same as These Are the Voyages, what that was to Enterprise.
Whoa.
Well,
whoa.
Wow. I was
Coming in
saying in my
hot.
head, don't say it.
Yeah.
Don't say it. And you said it.
Instead of giving us a hopeful ending about Ben and a satisfying conclusion about Ben's fate, we essentially get Dr. Sam Beckett never returned home, but not in a cool way like Quantum Leap did it. We discover
Not spelled wrong.
that ultimately Cisco vanished for good. Starfleet's best dad and most devoted family man ultimately deserted his family. He never reconnected with Jake. He wasn't there for Cassidy and their daughter on Bajor. I mean, I'm sorry, it's a
Okay.
slap in the face
I see where you're
to
going.
everything Ben represented and everything that Avery wanted the character to be. Avery insisted that the character be. And I know that it's because Avery ain't coming back, so you're not going to be able to get him to reprise the role, to come back and you have the scenes with him reconnecting with Cassidy and Jake. It's just a practical matter. So I get why they had to land there. But in my mind, Cisco always comes back somehow. I don't think that he would leave them hanging, but now it's a fact. Now it's canon. Cisco deserted his people. And I can't reconcile that. I just can't. I'm like getting emotional talking about it. I'm getting like shaky. So John, yeah, if you want.
No, it's interesting. Like the things that you're saying that concern you about this episode are how exactly I feel about the finale of Deep Space Nine. Like it really made me angry how I felt they undid the character and undid the importance of the character. That drove me nuts. And I feel like this one, they're trying so hard to reconcile that. And they tell you from the beginning, like, yeah, we're going to finish this story. We're going to answer these deep questions you've always had about, but then they just don't. And to my satisfaction, Albie, you feel differently, but I just feel like they don't. And all the good intentions don't save it for me. Chris, I apologize for interrupting you, but I had to.
No,
had
it's
to get
okay.
that off my chest.
I needed to take a breath. I needed to take a breath, and that's not me saying I'm not hating on the episode. I'm not, but this to me is the worst possible conclusion to DS9 that you could think of. So for that, I have to say the episode goes way down in my estimation, even though everybody was well-intentioned, even though it was sincere, even though I know it came out of a place of love, not for just DS9, but for Avery and his portrayal as Ben and everything he tried to bring to the franchise and everything he did bring to the franchise. I'm on your side with that. I just cannot believe that Ben would disappear forever and never once again touch base with his family. I just can't. So for that, I'm going to give this episode 2 random habaneras out of 5. And it kind of ruins DS9 for me in some ways.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's that Rorschach test.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Well, thank you,
Yeah.
Chris, for sharing your pain, and you'll gain strength through the sharing.
Thank you.
I didn't think about it in those because I liked the finale. As I said before, I liked the finale of DS9, and I can understand Albie's perspective of what they like, why you were annoyed by it and what they were trying to do. So I get both sides of that. I didn't think of it at all in the terms that you just mentioned, Chris, where, well, clearly it's now fact that he never came back, because you're right, but also I guess it didn't bother me in that sense because Jake made his peace with it. Like if he's the aggrieved party, but he's like, you know what? I don't know that he's not watching us. I feel like he is. So even though he never appeared to them, in Jake's mind, at least in Sam's mind, in Jake's mind, he was still there. So I hear you, Chris. And like I said, I feel like the four of us have overlapping opinions, but like I feel like we're all kind of in 4 different places with it. I agree with you, John. Like it'll be, I mean, the sense that I got from the people who got the screen, it was like, oh, it's the best, it's the awesome, it's the best. So we may, someone might put some hits out on us for this.
Well,
our receiving of this may not be well received.
One of the things that pisses me off about DS9's dance with spiritual philosophical ideas here is that, physically at the end of DS9, Ben Sisko leaves. He leaves his son and his wife, and he is gone. And he doesn't even say goodbye to Jake, right? So he goes away. Now we have this nice thing in this episode intended to bookend that, with Jake saying like, I felt the love, I felt his presence. That's fine. I would actually, if I'm being generous, I would tie that back to the previous episode and say that the idea of the power of myth helping to shape your life is valid and is strong. And that is Jake's myth for himself. Jake's myth is, my dad had this other thing he had to do, but I'll just know that he loved me. And I will feel that in whatever way I can. Now, here's the thing, guys. The prophets, they're aliens who live in a goddamn wormhole. You can literally get in a shuttle and go there. You can just decide, look, it's the 32nd century now. You got spore drives, you got all this stuff. You can literally just go there anytime you want. It's weird. They don't know what time is, and they speak in riddles and all this
They'll
stuff.
play baseball with you.
Yeah, they
point.
do all
That's a
that. It's so irritating. But you could just go there. They're just guys. They're just guys in a wormhole, and you can go see them. And that, to me, again, coming from my position of skepticism, that was a big problem that I had with the way that DS9 unfolded anyway. Because I can understand that there are people who look at that in a spiritual context, and they look at it in this sort of mythic shaping force that they have on their culture. But they're also just guys in a wormhole, and you can just go there if you want. You could talk to them, you know?
I did not
Yeah,
So
ever.
Jake should have visited.
Yeah,
He should have.
He could have stopped by.
Yeah, or Ben should have popped out. Hey, I'm
Yeah.
fine. I'm fine. So I
Like-
got wormhole stuff to do.
Like
you know?
every parent, like their kid could have visited more.
Yeah, yeah.
I would say I am genuinely surprised that I apparently am the most spiritual person on any podcast anywhere. I am
That's great,
firm-
though. That's
I am-
great.
I am
Yeah.
firmly agnostic. But yeah, you're not wrong. They could have just gotten a shuttle and visit. Presumably, like I guess they could retcon some, not even retcon. They could explain some reason why not, maybe later. But who knows? Maybe the prophets
I
just
don't
don't appear
need-
like that anymore.
Yeah,
Now you,
and
now you
look,
go through the
everything-
wormhole. You just go out the other side.
Sure,
Mhm.
and everything doesn't need to be spelled out. Absolutely. And again, if I give this episode the benefit of the doubt, it's like they're trying to match that DS9 idea that like this can be nebulous, it can be quasi spiritual and vague, and we don't have to put an answer on everything. I totally get that. Still though, Ben is a person. Even if he was constructed, even if he was made with intent by the prophets, he is still a person who existed in flesh and blood, and he's got a flesh and blood son. And I'm still torn up about the way that they were separated at the end of the series. Because again, the lead up was great. But what they did in the end left me very cold. And this didn't really do much to resolve that, except again, you have to sort of give Jake his own experience. You have to give him his reality and say, okay, if what we're hearing is true, not just the interpretation of a computer that's holding a hologram, if it's true, Jake's okay. He was okay throughout his adult life. He felt the love. Look, again, to kind of make it personal, there was a long stretch just because of the nature of my dad's work as a physician. And at a certain point, he didn't have a partner who he was sharing duties with, right? So he was just gone way more than the periods before and after that. I'm talking for a stretch of years, right? But I knew that wasn't something personal against me. I knew that he loved me. I knew that everything in our relationship was fine, but there was a duty that also had to be attended to, so people can have that duality in their lives. They can have the obligation, but they can also show love to their family, and and we feel it. That's okay. I still don't know that this episode really drove that home for me, because I think the episode is also kind of a mess with a goofy dinner scene in the middle.
Well, yeah.
I didn't think about this literally until just now when you were talking. But like one of the, like, I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but this is the load bearing wall that fails. I think this episode is Sam is like, oh, you're an emissary, I'm an emissary, you're the only one who gets what I'm going through. He's not the only emissary. It's a pretty common word.
Yeah, right.
It's not
right.
if you're like, oh, you're an ambassador like I am, like, sure, but he's not the only. It'd be different if you were like the Messiah. Yeah, there's probably fewer of those, but emissary is like a job. Like that's that's like there's nobody else you relate to. I was like, oh right, Cisco.
Yeah.
Like of course I'm just like him. Like you're not though. You're just kind of.
Yeah.
And I think that's, and it wasn't
That's a
until you
great
talking about
point.
it just now that that's what's missing. That's why that was the meat of this that I needed to follow where they wanted to take me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't there because it doesn't make sense to me that she can't relate to anybody else who has, I mean, that's the freaking Beta Zeds are that,
Mhm.
they half of her classmates effectively are, oh, I am the only one of my kind here.
For me, the end of Deep Space Nine left me hanging. So whether or not I liked the ending of Ben Sisko, at least now I know what happened. So I think that was the closure for me. I didn't necessarily get what I wanted, but at least I know. It was like, how Alf ended. They left you hanging. And until that made-for-TV movie that nobody else was in except for the puppet.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why I liked it, because it gave me my ending.
See,
Think about it. They left me hanging for how many years now? 20?
I didn't even think of it as an ending, though. Like, I mean, you're right, Chris. Again, I didn't even think about it the way that you mentioned that, like the physical, like the people left behind, no pun intended. But like, the question was, okay, is he alive in the wormhole or did he die? And we still don't know. So to me, that was another thing that I felt like this episode repeatedly asked questions and then didn't answer them. Like, obviously the main question is Sisko alive or not? And then like when she's having her moment with Jake at the end with the books, like, if I close this book, will you disappear? It's like, I don't know. I mean, I thought you were doing this. Am I doing this? Are you doing this? I'm like, why would you even ask the question? Show. Like we already the question is already implicit. If you're gonna ask it, you should answer it. Or just don't ask it because it's already asked effectively. That was like,
I liked their moment of being real together there, though. So I think that was worth it for me.
I liked it. I'm just saying they just could have removed that question because it wasn't even really germane to the conversation that they were having.
Well, we want you to join the conversation out there in YouTube land. You can do so. There are many ways that you can reach out to us here at Treksploration. The best way to do so right now is right here in the comments section. Please leave your comments. Is this glass half full? Is this glass half empty? What do you make of this whole Rorschach test? You can also hit us up on Patreon. We have a community over there. That's patreon.com/Treksploration.
Please, I got bills to pay.
Yeah, you can support the show there monetarily if you so choose, but you can also join the community for free and speak your mind over there. You can hit us up on Blue Sky at Treksploration.bluesky.social. You can email us your comments and photos. Email us photos because Albie will put them in the credits.
Uncensored.
Treksplorationpod@gmail.com. You can send your Benjamin Sisko doll to me at P.O. Box 542, Bayport, New York 11705. It'll go next to my Mirror Archer. P.O. Box 542, Bayport, New York 11705. Please send anything you like to that. And if you want to support the show in a one-time manner, Albie has a whole bunch of PayPal, QR codes, Zelle, Venmo. It's all links that you can scan with your phone.
Right, there we go.
And we want to thank Albie. You said we had a couple of new members. Is that was those?
Oh yes,
new
we got a new YouTube member.
Okay, new YouTube member. So we want to thank our new YouTube member. Insert name here, and they joined the ranks of our other members, including our special lifetime member, the Omnipotent Willard. Thank you, Willard. And our crew of intrepid Treksplorers, which include our cadets, Listen Linda and Rick Tatro, our Lieutenant Commander, Scott Seligman, Cosplay Dad, and Christian Daljo, and of course our captain, the esteemed Captain Charles from Texas, Captain on the Bridge. Thank you one and all for everything you do for spreading the word about Treksploration. And thanks to all of the new members here on YouTube, all of the new subscribers. We've grown our audience so much since Academy started. Getting guests like the great John Champion, the legend, the man himself.
The legend.
Where is he?
Not
I
John
wanna meet this
Legend,
guy,
John
please.
Champion.
John Champion. John Champion got a shout out in this episode.
There you go.
Hey, right on.
So
Yeah.
So we want to hear what you think about all of this, and we want you to share your thoughts. We want you to share our episodes with all the Trekkers that you know so that we can keep growing our community of Trek lovers and keep this wonderful dialogue going. We're having such great discussions about this show. I am so glad that Starfleet Academy is as good as it is, and we want to know what you think about it. Just remember, any comment that you leave may be used in a future episode of Treksploration. And speaking of future episodes, Albie, what's coming up next?
I have a title for you. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
This is Starfleet Academy, Season 1, Episode 6. Episode loglines and titles are embargoed for the Monday before the specific episode is available to stream on Paramount Plus in the U.S.
All right. I feel like
hyphenated?
we've seen that one before.
Why are they doing that? You would think they would want us to tell the title. We know the title.
Yeah.
No, we don't.
So weird.
No, we don't. That
No,
way
we don't?
people can't get mad at us. No, we don't.
Okay, we don't know the title.
I legit don't know the title, so I can say
There
it.
you go.
You know, cult.
Well,
Deniability.
plausible deniability.
Plausible deniability.
There we go.
Episode 6, press pre-release photo here.
There we go.
There you go. So it's something about this character.
So we want to thank you, John, for all the time that you spent
Thank
with
you.
us. I mean, when I started listening to Mission Log all those years ago, driving up to Vermont with my wife, she's saying, "Are you listening to these two again?"
Yeah.
I never imagined.
I hear that a lot.
I never imagined that I would be part, like we four, I guess. But so it's a special joy to be able to meet you and have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
I thank you so much, and I'm flattered at the invitation, and I hope we get to do it again sometime. This was an absolute blast, and I love the spirit of agreeably disagreeing. This has been lovely. You know, this is absolutely the best, the most fun way to kick around and debate something that we love. So thank all three of you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, John Champion.
Thank you.
You are a bucket list for me.
Ah,
So I really appreciate that. There
Thanks
was
for
maybe 2 in my life when I got to interview Scott Bakula for the Quantum Leap podcast, and lover of Mission Log since it started.
wow.
And when the original duo broke up, I had fantasies in my head that, ooh, maybe I could, because I've been podcasting for 6 years, and I, know a little bit about Star Trek. Of course, I didn't get the job. That's fine. But I was like, I always, that was always a dream. Maybe podcast with John Champion one day, and I did, and I thank you for that.
And look at us, we're right here. And again, invitation still stands. If you find your way out here on the West Coast, let me know. I would love to hang out with you folks as a group, individually, however, but I know where the good martinis are. So yeah, give me a yell.
That could be bad luck for you. Last time we were invited out to LA, the show got canceled.
It might be.
The Quantum Leap 2022 got canceled. They're like, come out. We'll show you around the studio. You hang out while we film.
Right.
We'll be there. Canceled.
Womp womp.
John Irons, where can people get your book, 1,700 Esoteric Syllables About Your Mama?
About your mama. Available on Amazon.
That's awesome.
Thank you. They are 100 haiku Yo Mama jokes, co-written by comedian Jared Stern, who actually
The audiobook read by Emo Phillips.
not true.
Part of the audiobook read by Emo Phillips.
It is true that there is a recording of him reading 3 of the poems from the book.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we'll put a little asterisk when it, run the disclaimer at the bottom of the
Asterisks
screen,
everywhere.
please. You can also hear me on my podcast, Captain Game Show, Trivia Wordplay Podcast. And Albie hasn't been on yet. Mr. John Champion, I invite you to be on.
I am the Matt Damon.
Hey.
Next time,
Captain Game
yeah,
Show?
next time I actually do an episode, which is who knows when, but you can find every
Yeah.
episode that I have done at
There you
CaptainGameShow.com.
Cool.
Christopher, where can people find The Seeker?
You can find it on Amazon. I don't recommend you read it. Everybody hates The Seeker.
I loved it. I read it on a train out loud.
Again, not for children. You should not have read that to your daughter. John
She's old enough.
Champion. John Champion, where can people find you?
Clearly, I need to write a book, but until that day,
Yes,
you
you
can
do.
find me.
I need to
You
read
should
that
write a
book.
actually.
Right?
I want to read that book.
You can find me at podcast.roddenberry.com. That will lead you to all the shows that we do: Mission Log Live, Reactors, Sci-Fi 5, The Trek Files, etc., etc., etc. You can reach us on our socials: Facebook at Mission Log Pod, on Instagram at Roddenberry Podcast. But yeah, podcast.roddenberry.com. That'll just link you over to everything. Hope to see you there.
Awesome.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Well, this was a great experience. I had a great time talking to you guys about Star Trek. I always love talking to you guys about Star Trek. And until next time, for Treksploration, I'm Albie.
I'm Chris.
I'm John.
And I'm
I'm
other
just trying
John.
something new, you guys. I don't know.
And we'll see you in a holographic form in the future. Bye-bye.
Bye.